Well, good evening and welcome everyone from the Commonwealth Pool right here in Edinburgh. You join us for the first final session in the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2017. Lots of great action to look forward to tonight here right in the heart of Edinburgh. My name's Paul Noble. I'm taking you through the action tonight, and joining me in the commentary position, Scottish national coach Alan Lynn. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you, Paul. Evening, everybody. We've got a fantastic evening of swimming coming up. We've got a world record holder, we've got European champions and Commonwealth champions galore, and we've got lots of people looking to challenge those swimmers as we reach the first final session of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2017.
Well, a number of events we have to look forward to tonight. We have A finals, B finals and youth finals in all the events this evening, with the exception of the 50 metre events, which are skins events tonight, so that promises to be quite exciting, that one. It's a survival of the fittest, the skins, sometimes.
Yeah, it's not usually the best sprinter or out and out drop dead sprinter who wins that. It's somebody with some speed, endurance.
Well, skins are to come a little bit later on. 200 breaststroke is the first of the finals to come up tonight. Men's 200 breaststroke, that's one that's another mouth-watering class. 200 breaststroke, it's been a really strong event in GB recent years.
Oh, it really has. It goes all the way back to, of course, Olympic champion David Wilkie in 1976, right through to our present stars, Ross Murdoch, who's the European champion and Commonwealth Games champion, but he's not going to have it his own way with Olympians and Commonwealth Games finalists in that final against him coming up very shortly.
Well, I'll follow up with the women's 100 breaststroke coming up as well. Very, very close in qualification there. Some of the overseas visitors. We've seen some of the Swedes and some of the Danish swimmers swim very well this morning.
In that final we have Jenny Johansson, who won European gold in the 50 metres breaststroke in 2015. And of course we have the current world record holder, Rikke Moller Pedersen, who was swimming in lane 5 from Denmark.
Well, you couldn't get much better quality than that one. 1500 freestyle right to the other end of the spectrum there, Alan. And a couple of big names in that one as well. Scotland's own Stephen Milne. Stephen
Milne, of course, yes, Olympic silver medalist last year in the men's 4x200 freestyle relay. And he's up against it too with some opposition from Jay Lelliot and perhaps one or two youngsters pushing through on that, trying to get some good early season times in.
Yeah, I remember the 1500 last year. Stephen was very well supported by the crowd here in Edinburgh. I expect much of the same tonight. And another Scottish record holder goes in the women's 100 backstroke, Kathleen Dawson. What a season she had last year.
She had a terrific season, of course, that bronze medal in the European Championships in London at the Olympic Aquatic Centre. Followed almost by every swim she did, a new Scottish record, heats, semi-finals, finals galore, and she's been in good early season form already this year.
Well, that's the way to do it. You can progress every round up until the final. That's the trick. Save your best performance to when it really counts. In the next event, it's the men's 100 backstroke. Stephen Milne will be back in the water again after his 1500.
Well, not much chance of a swim down for Stephen. We've got young Conor Ferguson from Ulster, who's in sparkling form this morning, a good couple of seconds faster than anyone else in qualifying, but pushing him hard will be Charlie Balderson, who swims out of the University of Stirling, and our own Craig McNally, Commonwealth Games swimmer, and of course 5th in the World Championships in 2013, swimming now out of City of Glasgow. They'll push Conor very, very hard in that men's 100 backstroke final.
Yeah, it promises to be a close contest, that one. The skins follow next, the youth skins as well as the senior skins as well. We'll see that. So some of the youngsters, chance to shine.
Well, as I said a few moments ago, it's really the test of speed endurance. So the best out and out sprinters may not come to the fore in the skins events, but certainly it's a good workout for those who make it all the way through to the final round.
And we've got some of the world stars as well. Pernilla Bloom as well, going for Denmark there in the women's 50 freestyle.
Olympic gold medalist, of course, last year, maybe surprisingly. And sorry, medalist, not gold medalist, Olympic medalist last year in Rio, and she was the fastest qualifier with a terrific 24.68 this morning, but not so sure that she will eventually triumph in the skins. I fancy Lucy Hope might have something to say about that come the final.
200 butterfly for the women. Follow those skins events as well. Could be a wide open field, that one. Just 2 or 3 of the swimmers just kind of vying for position there. Laura Stevens from Plymouth Leander, the fastest into the finals.
She swam at the World Short Course Championships last December, in fact, in Windsor, Ontario. Look out for many Scots in that final. Hannah Miley, Kiana McInnes, Tane Bruce, who will also swim in that. And Kiana McInnes, of course, set a new Scottish junior record last weekend in the Indianapolis Pro Series Grand Prix with a 2 minutes 11 seconds. And she'll be looking to go well in that 200 fly final.
Yeah, well, we'll watch her progress as we come to that final a little bit later on. Jill Elliott goes in the 200 freestyle. 200 again, another strong event in Great Britain at this particular time, especially with the strength of the 4x200 relay team. Everybody kind of vying for position for future international honours. They must see that as a great chance to hit the medal podium.
That's a really wide open race, I think. It was not the strongest qualifying performance as far as the heats were concerned, but certainly wide open this evening. Jill Elliott also going in that 1500, so he may well be suffering a bit come that final, and there'll be an opportunity perhaps for one of the younger guys to push through.
And the women's 400 freestyle, Hannah Miley in pole position there. Hannah Miley doing a couple of events. We saw her in the water a few times this morning. It's the fastest heat of the 400 freestyle this time, and she'll start as favourite there, but her Scottish teammate Camilla Hattersley
Hannah
also
is
in the
the
mix.
Scottish record holder, and of course Camilla Hattersley joined her on the British Olympic team last summer in Rio, and we'll see what kind of form she's in. Also Anglo-Scot Abby Houston from Sheffield going in that race.
Well, Dan Wallace goes in the men's 200 IM, then we finish with the relay, but we start off tonight with a swim off, and it's a swim off for one of the places, a reserve place I think, in the skins. It's the men's 50 metre butterfly swim off. We have Nicholas Headgard from Fareham in 4 and Miles Munro from Bath University in 5. Both these guys are trying to swim for that place, and good start there for the swimmer closest to us. That is Nicholas Headgard from Fareham. It looks like he has the edge over Miles Munro from Bath University as they approach the closing stages here. He's led from the start. It is going to be Nicholas Headgard who gets that reserve place. 25.33 for the Fareham swimmer.
Nice job by him there, led all the way through, and of course he'll have to wait and see if he gets to do it again.
Well, we'll have to wait for that one. Another second chance to have a swim there. So Nicholas Headgard from Fareham, one of the overseas visitors, he gets that win in that one. 25.33. Comfortable win in the end over Miles Munro. We have the hashtag, the Twitter hashtag up in the corner of your screen there, hashtag EISM 2017. So please send your tweets in. We'll try and read them out. We might scroll some of them across the bottom of the screen as well. Alan and I are on there. We've already tweeted this session, so just send us your pictures and send us your messages. Where are you watching this final session from? We'd love to have a look at it.
We certainly would, Paul, and apologies if we've just blown up Twitter with that image of Paul and I ready to commentate, but we'll do our best to keep you posted. Some of the lifeguards there getting themselves on camera across the world as we bring this Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2017 to you.
I see we've one person's liked it, and it's your bosses, it's your employer, Scottish Swimming.
That's very kind of them. I'm glad they're watching.
There you go. That's us. Join myself and Alice Swim on the live stream tonight. There you go. Right on cue.
Fantastic.
Is University of Edinburgh. Best of luck to all the performance swimmers competing tonight in Edinburgh this weekend. Hashtag boost University of Edinburgh swimming. We are pool deck and all ready for the first night of finals. That's Scottish Swimming. Send us your tweets in, of course. Send us some pictures of where you're watching the finals here at Whistle G, the start of our journey. Swim Wales with the Youth Development Academy squad. Had a big team this morning. A lot of swims this morning and this afternoon from Wales.
They have, and Graham Antwistle, of course, most recently was at the University of Bath High Performance Centre there as part of the British swimming setup. He's now moved to Swim Wales, and we wish Graham and his swimmers every success this evening and for the future.
Start off with event 101. Well, start off, I say, we've had the swim off, but this is the first of the official events. And this is the youth final of the men's 200 metres breaststroke. Lewis Waters, one of those young Welsh swimmers, goes in 1. Andrew Page from Mount Kelly goes in lane 2. Cameron Muir, South Ayrshire, in lane 3. Callum Smart from City of Oxford in 4. George Clough from Warrender in 5. Kyle Booth, the second of the Welsh swimmers, in 6. Archie Goodburn from Warrender in 7. And the third Welsh swimmer, Bradley Newman from Nova Cymru, goes in lane number 8. Well, promises to be a close one this on. 2:20.96. Callum Smart was fastest into this youth final, but not much in it at all. Just 0.3 of a second ahead of George Clough of Warrender.
Some of the most promising young swimmers in Scottish swimming in this final are youth squad members, former youth squad members, and certainly people who've done very well in this event previously, picking out George Clough, Cameron Muir and Archie Goodburn in particular. But I think it will be a very, very close race, Paul, and we're seeing that over that first 100.
Well, 3 swimmers in contention in the early stages. Cameron Muir, just the lower of the 3 swimmers in lane number 3, and the 2 swimmers in the yellow lanes inside him. Callum Smart in 4, and George Clough in lane number 5 with that red cap of Warrender. As they come to the turn, is George Clough, 107.80, has a 0.2 of a second lead over Callum Smart, and Cameron Muir further 0.4 behind. It looks like it is going to be these 3 for the youth title so far.
It's a really positive start from George Clough. He's taken this race very much by the scruff of the neck, and he's beginning to lengthen his stroke and lengthen his lead down this third 50.
Well, George Clough with that recognisable red cap of Warrender has the advantage coming into that final turn here. George Clough will go over first. Callum Smart, the fastest qualifier, of course, into the heat, 2:20.96, but he's got his work cut out on this final 50.
George Clough will looking to go under 2 minutes 20 seconds. He's just about on target to do that with his 150 metre split, and he's really beginning to power home now in this last 25.
George Clough looking supreme here. He was second fastest into this youth final. He's going to come out first though. George Clough is going to come home in front. He is going to take first blood here at the Edinburgh International. He will be the youth champion in 2:19.72. Callum Smart, a tenth of a second faster than he went this morning, 2:20.86. And Cameron Muir, 2:22.47, an improvement from his heat time.
George will be very pleased, and his coach Kostas Kaloutsis will be very encouraged by that swim sub 2:20. Swam it really well. His stroke is very, very long and nice and even pace throughout. A very, very pleasing swim for George Clough.
Yeah, George looked in control of that one right from the very early stages there, and Callum Smart couldn't quite live with the pace of the man from Warrender Bath Club. The next final we'll see is the B final of the men's 200 metres breaststroke. There is the lineup. Kieran Preston from Edinburgh University going in lane number 1. Joel O'Halloran from Derwentside in lane 2. Edmund Ashton from London Aquatics in 3. Daniel Lim goes in 4 from Edinburgh University. David Murphy from City of Oxford in 5. Jacob Jorgensen from Kastrup, he goes in lane 6. Benedict Tortolano from Stirling Swim in 7. And Jack O'Brien from City of Manchester Aquatics, he goes in lane number 8. Very, very fast start there from David Murphy from City of Oxford, going into an early lead. A blistering start in comparison to the man inside him, Daniel Lim.
Yeah, it really is. It's very positive. He's perhaps disappointed at not making that A final. Of course, the average age of these swimmers is a little bit older than that previous youth final, and we'll look for them to swim exactly the same way, long stroke, even pace if they can, but David Murphy's certainly attacking this race with some real vigour.
He has almost a body length lead of the swimmer just one up from him, Jacob Jorgensen of Kastrup. Also going well in the lanes down at the bottom of your screen there. Kieran Preston is holding on, might be challenging for second position actually, and in third position, right next to him, Kieran Preston, Joel O'Halloran also going well. First to the halfway point is David Murphy, 105.27. Preston is in second position, and Jorgensen and O'Halloran very close there in third and fourth position, but Murphy looking good.
Murphy's entry time, presumably his best time, 2:15.13, and he'll not be far away from that if he can hold on to this stroke length and stroke power as he's powering down the third 50, heading to the 150 turn, beginning just to shorten a little bit now, perhaps paying for that early speed.
Well, he's set his stall out now. He's going to have to hang on for the final 50. Murphy sees his lead just cut, just very, very slightly. It's still a 3-second advantage though. And in second position, it's still Kieran Preston there. And Kieran Preston actually trying to come up with David Murphy here. This might be fairly close at the end here if Preston can keep this pace going. David Murphy just holding on. He's certainly going to get second position, but can Kieran Preston pull out something special in the near side lane here? That angle a little bit deceptive as they come into the flags here. Kieran Preston is not going to be far away at all from Murphy, but Murphy will just have enough to hold on, and Murphy will take it in 2:18.12. Kieran Preston just a second behind there in 2:19.88, and third was Jorgensen. I just thought that Kieran Preston might well have just about got in there to challenge David Murphy.
Swimming in lane 4 there, presumably as a reserve, Scott Quinn from Warrender, the home club here in this pool, 2:29.22. Scott, of course, set a new world record for his classification, S14, in the para-swimming category this morning, and a terrific swim from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well spotted, Alan. Scott Quinn, a man who had a very successful 2016 as well, European champion, Paralympic Games silver medal. So Scott Quinn there, 2:29 in the final, just slightly slower than that world record mark that he set in the heats this afternoon. So Scott Quinn, a man bang on form. He'll be preparing for the Para World Championships a little bit later in the year in Mexico in September.
He's been in terrific early season form. He wasn't far away from his Rio silver medal winning time just last weekend with a 67 for the 100 breaststroke. So that world record on the 200 showing that he's certainly proving his form and fitness this early season, and very much looking forward to the World Championships in Mexico, as Paul said.
So we move on to the final now, the A final. So we'll just check our lineups. We don't want to miss anybody out. Make sure we've got the right ones that are coming up on our screens here. Craig Benson goes for in lane number 2. Nicholas Quinn, we missed him going through. Edinburgh University. Craig Benson goes in 2. James Willoughby from Loughborough University in 3. Ross Murdoch, well, we spoke about him in the introduction. Ross Murdoch from University of Stirling. He goes in lane number 4. Can he be pressed by Chris Steeples, who had a very good swim in the heats, looked very comfortable in one of the early heats. Chris Steeples from Derventio. Callum Tate, another Commonwealth Games swimmer, Edinburgh University, goes in 6. Tobermory Mackay, champion, the youngest in this field, representing City of Oxford, he goes in 7. And Daniel Lim there in lane number 8. So Daniel Lim being promoted to the A final. And Scott Quinn obviously promoted as a reserve from the B final. So we're all sorted out now, Alan, ready for this A final.
We certainly are, and Ross Murdoch, of course, as we mentioned earlier, European and Commonwealth champion, will be looking to hold his stroke together for this 200 metres breaststroke event, already stretching it out, lengthening his stroke down this first 50. Not shaved, of course, for this event, sporting I think we'll call that a beard. We'll be generous to Ross, but looking good down this first quarter of the race.
Well, James Wilby first to that turn. Callum Tate in second position. Ross Murdoch handily placed in third. Not much in it between the top three. And Ross Murdoch certainly not feeling the effects of that drag from that beard just yet.
Callum Tate, finalist in Glasgow in 2014, is looking very, very positive down this first half of the 200 breaststroke final, and really taking it to Ross Murdoch.
Yeah, Callum Tate might just edge it at halfway. No, it's Murdoch, 103.86. Callum Tate in second, 104.05 at the halfway point. So good swimming there from the two Scots there. Chris Steeples a little bit off the pace at this stage. James Wilby, though, holding on to third position, clear in third position, and he's got to try and hold on to that because the two Scots looking good in the front. Ross Murdoch looking very, very good in this 200.
A couple of weeks ago at the British University Championships, Ross went 2:13. He swam 31 second, followed by 3:34 second swims. At this moment in time, he's gone out in a 30 point and has hit 2:33s, albeit a high 33 there on that third 50, and he'll be looking to get a much faster time than that 2:13 in this swim.
Well, can Ross Murdoch hold on to this one? Callum Tate still in the mix here, but Ross Murdoch looks like he is going to take this one. James Wilby in lane number 3 is coming back into contention for the silver medal, but they're not going to beat Murdoch. Murdoch is away and clear. Murdoch will take this one in 2:12.07. Well, you called it, Alan. A little bit faster than he went just a few weeks ago. James Wilby did get in for second position, just getting ahead of Callum Tate by 6/100ths of a second, but Ross Murdoch 2:12.07.
Yeah, that was good. He faded a little bit on his splits on the second 100, but I think Ross and his coach Ben Hickson were really pleased with the positivity there with 30.5, 33.3, 34.3 and 34.4. Really positive swim. Of course, the British Championships was double up as the trials for the World Championship team and many, many other teams, too many to mention, will take place in around 5 or 6 weeks' time, and that'll be a very encouraging swim for Ross at this stage of the season.
Yeah, Ross Murdoch, of course, qualified for the Olympic Games last year in the 100 breaststroke.
He did. His teammate in Stirling and, of course, in the Olympic team, Craig Benson, just pipped him in those trials at Glasgow last April, and Craig has been on 2 Olympic teams now, and terrific performances from him.
So they are just about to get Ross Murdoch. There he is, sporting that beard. And he's just about to get interviewed on poolside by Helen Plank.
Huge congratulations on that race. Can you just talk us through that race for us?
Thank you very much. It was just about going in there and trying to, get my race craft pretty much down for trials. So I was trying to do my stroke count there that I'm planning to hit in April at the World Champ trials, and that's the fastest I've gone all season. So things are starting to come together.
And what's it like performing in front of a home crowd here in Edinburgh?
It's really good. I love Edinburgh. This is the pool that I first went 60 point in, so I've got fond memories here, and I just keep making new ones like I do. I love it coming here.
Ross, that's great, and it's back over to the events team. Thanks very much. Congratulations.
So well done, Ross Murdoch there. Interviewed in front of the crowd here at the Commonwealth Pool.
Indeed. Resplendent in his facial hair there, Ross Murdoch. Of course, it'll all disappear, that and any other residual hair on his body as he shaves down for those British Championships. Commonplace, of course, now across the world of swimming for many, many years as swimmers look to get as many advantages as possible over their opponents.
Well, we'll wait and see how Ross Murdoch turns out at these British Championships and qualification trials.
After that swim, I think he'll be really pleased, really confident. It's a good in-season swim for him at 2:12, and the way he put it together was also very positive. And as I said before, I think he and his coach Ben Hickson will be satisfied with a very good first day's work done here in Edinburgh.
And I wonder what these young ladies will do for this one. We have got the youth final of the women's 100 metres breaststroke. Anya Reid from first. She goes in lane number 1. Ellie Riley from Heart of Midlothian goes in 2. Keelan Fitton from Borough of Kittley's in 3. Rachel Taylor, City of Sunderland in 4. And Harrod Evans from London Aquatics in 5. Lucy Ross, East Kilbride in 6. Natasha Fenton, City of Oxford in 7. And Maya Little from City of Oxford in lane number 8. Promises to be a close race this one, Alan, but Rachel Taylor will be the favourite, City of Sunderland.
Yeah, she was a good couple of seconds ahead of the others in this field and set a very good time, 1:11 this morning, and looking to build on that with an excellent first 60 or 70 metres.
And Rachel Taylor away and clear as we might have expected. Just a body length ahead of the others. It is very tight for second, third and fourth, but Rachel Taylor looks like she is going to take this one. Lucy Ross is challenging for second position, I think, and possibly could be Keelan Fitton as well, or maybe Ellie Riley getting up there, but it is going to be Rachel Taylor being caught at the end, but Taylor gets it in 1:11.55. It's Harrod Evans coming through very strongly in the closing stages there, and it was Ellie Riley in third position, but 1:11.55 for Taylor, just slightly faster than she went this morning.
Yeah, I should be pleased at that improvement from heat to final. The girls of the ages in this race we've just seen will be looking to qualify for British junior and youth teams over the summer. We've got the Youth Olympic Festival, we've got European Junior Championships, we have the World Junior Championships, and of course we have the Commonwealth Youth Games, where the home nations will compete separately in the Bahamas of all places, Paul. Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig at all. Yes. Fancy that one? Are you out there with the team, Alan?
I am not. The head coach for the Scottish Youth Games team will be Phil Potter from Hearts of Midlothian Swimming Club, and Phil been in charge of our youth squad programme for the last couple of seasons. A fitting reward for him, and I'm sure he'll do a terrific job with our young swimmers once they qualify.
Yeah, one to watch out for later on in the year. Of course, the big one coming up on the horizon, the Gold Coast next year. Just seems like yesterday, those Glasgow Commonwealth Games, and we're almost on to the next one now.
We are indeed, and of course Corrie Scott, who goes in lane 4 here as a medalist, bronze medalist in the women's 50 breaststroke in Glasgow. She had a very competent swim this morning in the 100 breaststroke. She lengthened the stroke, she kept it together, swimming a little bit more like we're used to seeing her just now, with a faster stroking rate. She'll certainly be looking to get as far under 1:10 as she can this evening in this B final.
Full line up there as they come to the turn. Hannah Miley, Megan Morrison, Rachel Wilson, Corrie Scott, who leads them through in first position at the halfway point. Catherine Johnston, Orla Adams, Emily Wood and Emma Kane. But Corrie Scott disappointed not to make that final. She just missed out by a few tenths, and she's looking to make amends here.
She is, and she's really trying to hold her stroke together down this second 50. She's lengthened that third 25, now picking up her rate into the finish, and this is a really encouraging technical swim from Corrie Scott.
Well, Corrie Scott leads them home. We'll keep an eye on the clock, and it is 1:09.54. She'll be pleased with that one. The only swimmer in the field to get under the 1:10 mark. Orla Adams in second position, 1:10.48, and in third, Catherine Johnston, 1:10.96.
Really in control of what she was doing there, Corrie Scott. She'll be looking to go much faster than that at those British Championships, but at this stage of the season, and in particular the way she swam that race, she and her coach Chris Jones, the head coach of the University of Edinburgh programme, I think will be really pleased and really encouraged by that swim.
Well, Corrie Scott wins the B final in 1:09.54, and remains to be seen what the swimmers in this A final have to offer on that one. That's going to be a good target for those swimmers. Not that it matters, of course, but 1:09.54. I wonder if how many people that Corrie Scott will claim to be faster than once this A final swim.
Well, this is a very tough final to make. 110.4 to make the final from this morning's heats. We have, of course, the world record holder in the 200 breaststroke, Ricky Pedersen, who'll go in lane 5. And we have the European champion from 2015, Jenny Johansson, on the 50 breaststroke. She'll be going in lane 3, and they're flanking Mona McSharry from Swim Ulster, who set the fastest time in the heats, but she's really up against it with these two world-class swimmers outside her.
Cara Hanlon we saw in lane number 1, Edinburgh University Jocelyn Hewlett in lane number 2, Jenny Johansson, well, we've heard about her, she goes in lane 3, Mona McSharry, great swim she had, Swim Ulster swimmer, was in lane 4, Ricky Pedersen there on the left hand side of the screen there, the Danish swimmer, Katie Matz from Stockport Metro, she goes in 6, Imogen Clark there in 7, and Jessica Steiger from BFL Gladbeck, she goes in lane number 8.
Look out also for Imogen Clark, who's been in sparkling early season form in America, the Austin Grand Prix, and again last weekend in Indianapolis.
Well, Mona McSharry with that red cap of Swim Ulster, fastest into this A final. But as you said, Alan, a tough draw between the two big names, Jenny Johansson and Ricky Pedersen, but was impressed by Mona McSharry this morning. She had 2 good swims. We'll see her later on in the skins as well.
She really did, and quite distinctive breaststroke. Though look along the 8 lanes, we'll see 8 different techniques, 8 different styles taking place, and it's an incredibly positive start, as I said, from Imogen Clark.
Yeah, well, it was a good pick there, Alan. 31.28 for Imogen Clark, continuing that good form that we've seen her. It is Johansson in 2nd, Pedersen in 3rd, Mona McSharry in 4th position. Still all to play for here, but Imogen Clark going really well with that white cap of Derventio.
Yeah, she's been in terrific form, as I said, and the others are coming back to her a little bit there, but if she can just hold on to the length of her stroke, then this last 20 metres or so, I think the race is hers.
Well, it does look like lane number 3, Jenny Johansson, is just about getting up on terms with Imogen Clark. And we're not going to quite see the finish there. It is Jenny Johansson, 107.43, just heading Imogen Clark by 0.15 of a second. 107.54 for Imogen Clark. And Mona McSharry, well, 108.04 for McSharry. Another improvement for the Ulster swimmer.
I think that's Imogen Clark's best time, which is very, very good at this stage of the season for the young Derventio swimmer. Really showing terrifically well, very positive down that first 50, and of course just pipped at the post by the class act in the field, the European champion on the short sprint event, Jenny Johansson.
Yeah, it was a very good swim for Imogen Clark there. She certainly went for it and just about held on at the end. I thought she was just about going to make it, but pipped by 0.1 of a second. And another good swim as well from McSharry. We'll see her a little bit later on as the swimmers exit the water. We are going to another poolside interview with Helen Plank on poolside with the winner. So Jenny Johansson will be pleased to get the win under her belt there.
I think so. I'm sure she's got much bigger goals for this season as well, but testing herself out, a little bit of travel across to Scotland, swimming against some good opposition and really pushing her all the way there. 0.1 is of course a very, very small margin, and Imogen Clark will be pleased with the PB and I'm sure encouraged to show such good form against the world-class swimmer.
It's all about mixing it with some of the big names here for some of these
Jenny,
swimmers.
Congratulations. Did you realise how close that race actually was?
I felt that I got really tired towards the end, but I tried to hang in there and do my best. So I'm very pleased with the time actually.
Well done, huge congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we hope you can hear those questions and the interviews for here in the venue. Just kind of brief snippets from the winners as we go through.
All the audio is going out on live stream as well. You just won't get it to you.
So you getting your Twitter messages through, Alan? Are we getting any Twitter love coming through for us?
Again, text love from
that's
my good
good.
lady.
That's always a good thing.
But Twitter love, I'm not so sure about. I'm hoping we'll see some messages as the final session transpires this evening.
Well, we're going through to the next final, coming through the youth final for the women's 100 metres backstroke. Trying to keep abreast of this programme, Alan. It's quite moving here. A lot of events to get through. There's poolside interviews as well, and the finalists are now coming out for this youth final. In fact, not the youth final. It's the 1500 metres freestyle final. My apologies. Moved on. Too many races there. It's the fastest heat of this 1500 freestyle. Jamie Scholes from East Region in 1. Harrison Coulter, Stockport Metro in 2. Ollie Mortensen from Hovenstadens in 3. Jael Elliott in 4 from Bath University. Stephen Milne from Perth City in 5. Richard Laird, East Kilbride in 6. Nathan Wells, Loughborough University in 7. And Jack Bonsall from Blackpool Aquatics in lane number 8. It is the men's 1500 freestyle. This is the fastest heat. There was no qualification heats this morning. We had some swims earlier today, and this is the 8 fastest entry times taking part in this final.
We had some good improvements earlier on today in the earlier heats of the men's 1500. Some very good PBs, some really good racing and PB set. This of course is the final heat and where the class of the event will be seen. Stephen Milne, as I said in my introduction, Olympic silver medalist in that men's 4x200 freestyle team, and he'll be pushed hard I think by Jael Elliott, who's also got the 200 freestyle final later. The two of them British internationals and very experienced swimmers, and I think really they'll be the ones who stretch the lead out even at this early stage, and we'll be looking to see how they can go head to head in this men's 1500 freestyle.
I suppose this is the event that Stephen Milne made his name in originally, although he's moved on to other things in recent years, and most significantly of course that 4x200 freestyle relay spot in the Olympic Games, so they won the silver medal, and before that the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow as well.
Yeah, in that first event in Glasgow, Stephen set a new Scottish record, a new personal best time in the men's 400 freestyle, and that really showed the intent of the Scottish team I think for that whole meet, and he's doing the same again here. He's really being as positive as ever. He may not be swimming the 1500 as often, but he's still a very accomplished distance swimmer, and I would look out for him, maybe not so much in the key events this season, but certainly next season and the season after, as he builds up his programme towards the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 2020.
Just so many events, so many big events for the guys like Stephen Milne to go for. We mentioned briefly the Commonwealth Games next year. That'll be a target for Stephen, I'm sure, and building through to the World Championships, European Championships. It's non-stop for these guys.
It really is. There's every likelihood that people could swim 12 months every year, and of course they and their coach and people who are involved with advising them on national programmes need to be sure that after something as big as the Olympic Games, emotionally, physically and of course psychologically, that they take a break, get themselves refreshed and ready to go again, and that's certainly what Stephen has done. Of course, enjoy their success. Many of our Olympic medalists have appeared in schools and clubs all around the country, putting their medals round the neck of young swimmers and hopefully inspiring them to do great things in the future.
Yeah, that's the message there, and the Scottish medalists have really embraced that. They've come through, as you said, Alan, visited many different places, seen the youth. Was that great? It wasn't one of the Scottish medalists, Joseph Schooling from Singapore, that great picture we saw on social media with when he met Michael Phelps 8 years ago, I think it was, and then ended up winning the gold medal for Singapore in the Olympics. Just shows you what can be achieved, how these successful swimmers can inspire the youngsters.
Yeah, little did he know it was one of the most inspiring pictures and stories of those Olympic Games last year in Rio, and hopefully perhaps someone who put on the medal of a Scottish medalist will do likewise and will be able to take on the mantle of a Stephen Milne, a Robbie Rennick, a Dan Wallace or a Duncan Scott. Of course, there are other fantastic swimmers from Scotland who made that team, and they will also be inspiring young boys and girls around the swimming clubs in Scotland and beyond as they embark on their own swimming career.
Well, of course, Robbie Rennick retired from swimming shortly after the Olympic Games, but the other three still very much going and will be in action tonight. Steve Milne, the first of them.
We will see all of them, and he's doing extremely well, Stephen Milne, taking out probably a 4 or 5 metre lead as we head towards the 400 metre mark. Time's not so important here in terms of personal best, but certainly pacing, control, length of stroke, tactics will be very, very important here for all of the swimmers. When you're swimming on your own in a 1500, it's very much about you and the goals that you set for yourself technically and tactically to be enacted. And Stephen Milne certainly looking smooth, looking strong at the moment. He's very, very good coming off the walls. Stephen has worked on that for a long time, and at this moment in time he's certainly holding even splits. And we'll see what he does tactically. It's difficult at this early stage of the race to know whether he's decided to go out hard and hang on, or whether he's deciding to build through the race. But certainly pace-wise, he's doing very well at the moment, and although he won't be under 15 minutes, he'll be looking to get as close to that mark as he can.
Coming up to the 500 metre mark, Stephen Milne has the lead over Jay Elliott. Right next to him, 5:03.48. So he's pacing around about 101 for the hundreds. Jay Elliott 5:07 at that stage, and Harrison Coulter just 5:08 there in third position, with Ollie Mortensen in fourth position, just to the left of your shot there. That is the leading four. They are beginning to be a little bit stretched out now, and Stephen Milne with that significant lead, probably on for, as I said, around about a 101, so he's going to be around about 15, 16, 15, 17 if he continues this pace.
We saw him this event last weekend in Indianapolis at the Pro Series Grand Prix as part of the British team. Speaking to his coach Ann Dixon through the week, he certainly swam that race completely differently to this, where he built through the race and finished very, very strongly. I wonder if the tactic this week is to go out a little bit stronger and test himself a bit more. He's no one to chase this time, so he's the guy setting the pace. He's the guy who's pushing ahead, pulling further ahead from Jay Elliott, and 15-17 would still be a pretty accomplished swim for him. Certainly back to back, week to week on 1500s, plus the training and the travel that he's done in the meantime. He's certainly one of our toughest and most resilient swimmers.
Stephen Milne continuing to eke out that pace of 101, right about 101 and a half possibly for that previous 100 there. So we'll keep an eye on the clock. We'll keep an eye on the gap between him and Jay Elliott. And a good contest for third position, Harrison Coulter and Ollie Mortensen. Pretty close, just out of the shot there. You just see them coming in on the right hand side of your screen, pretty much stroke for stroke there, trying to aim for that third position. But Stephen Milne going through 700 in 7:06.72, again 101 and a half. He has a lead of about 3.5 seconds now from Jay Elliott. We'll just keep an eye on that gap there to see if it extends or if it closes up any, but not really much of a change to the positions that you can see here. They're coming up to halfway on 750 metre mark, just coming in for Stephen Milne.
The race certainly competitively is for third and fourth. Harrison Coulter from Stockport Metro had an excellent swim in his 200 freestyle this morning, set a personal best time. It just missed out on the A final, and his coach Sean Kelly was extremely pleased with his progress, looking on keenly from the deeper end of the pool here at the RCP.
We'll keep a close eye on that battle for the third spot. And a close eye on first and second as well. Stephen Milne going over there in 8:08.54. And with that lead now, it's extended to around about 4.5 seconds. So the gap just eking out a little bit more from Stephen Milne. He's looking pretty good, Stephen Milne. Pretty comfortable. That red cap there coming up to the 850 metre mark.
One of the things that Stephen has been working on with Ann Dixon has been the length of his stroke, making sure that the integrity of each stroke doesn't deteriorate too much from the first 100 to the last 100. Of course, in this longest of pool swimming races, it's incredibly tough to do that, but that's what these swimmers are aiming to do, and Stephen certainly is doing a good job of that at the moment, although I think it's fair to say he's beginning to feel the pace a wee bit.
Yeah, I wonder if Jade Elliott can close this gap slightly. We might be on for a good finish here. Jade Elliott, though, is using his legs a little bit more in these early stages there, a little bit more of a leg kick for them. Stephen Milne just using his legs for the balance there. Jade Elliott, a little bit more activity from the back end of his body there. But Stephen Milne, though, has got this lead, and he's looking pretty comfortable there. Not sure if the lead's changing that much. The gap is around about 5 metres as he goes into that 950 turn.
For any younger swimmers watching this race, just look at the attack and the power off the wall from Stephen Milne. Remember, this is the 1500 metres freestyle. That's 30 lengths of the pool, 29 turns. And Stephen Milne's attacking every single one of them like it was the Olympic final. Great skills, great effort from Stephen Milne, and something certainly that young swimmers looking at this should pay attention to, pay heed to, and make sure that that's what they do. Every turn in training should be done the way Stephen Milne is doing these turns in this race. Real attack, real power, real intent to get round and off the wall as quick as possible.
And he's maintaining that advantage that he has against Jade Elliott. A real kind of masterclass so far from Stephen Milne here. Took the lead early on. Doesn't look like he is going to relinquish that, but we are only at the 2/3 stage. Jade Elliott hasn't given up at all.
I think Jade Elliott is beginning just to pick things up, almost the reverse of what happened last weekend in Indianapolis. He's the one going to come back strong, and Stephen always has a finish on him on the last 100, perhaps even 200 of a race. So although Jade Elliott may close some of this lead down, I still think that Stephen Milne is in a position to power home and win this race with an encouraging early season performance.
Well, of course, if Jade Elliott is to make up that deficit that he has at the moment as we go over at the 1100 mark, and he's going to have to expend a lot more energy than Stephen Milne to actually get back on level terms. That's the problem for Jade Elliott at the moment.
It's always easier to be the chaser, of course, in this circumstance, and 3 seconds now only the lead from Stephen over Jay, and I think we're in for a good race down the last portion of this 1500 freestyle. My money's still on Stephen Milne because he's such a strong finisher, but Jade Elliott is not going to give up easily, and he's certainly making this a tough workout for Stephen, and a great race for the spectators here at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2017.
Well, the gap is down to under 5 metres now as Stephen Milne comes into the 1200 mark. Just have a look at the flags, the 5 metre mark, the red markers there, and Jade Elliott is going to be inside that as Stephen Milne goes over. The gap's around about 4 metres, so it's still a handy advantage for Stephen Milne there. 12.16 at that turn there, so he's still around about 101 and a half, Stephen Milne, and Jade Elliott still the man who's doing the chasing, still the man with all the work to do. But Stephen Milne maintaining that advantage. It did look like Jade Elliott was closing up slightly, but not sure if he's going to have enough left now. Going up to 12.50, still 250 metres to go. Jade Elliott, well, he is certainly closing, but has he got enough?
He's doing everything he can to close this gap, but Stephen Milne I think will begin to bring in his legs over the last 200, 150 metres and power this race home. But he's getting a good test, he's getting a good workout, and I think both boys will be pleased on this Friday evening, crisp Friday evening in the early springtime in Edinburgh with the way in which they're testing themselves.
Well, as you said, Alan, certainly giving the crowd something to cheer about in the closing stages of this 1500. That's 1300 metres gone, 200 to go. Jale Elliott still trying manfully to get on terms with Stephen Milne. And as they come into the turn with 150 to go, Stephen Milne, certainly you'll just see there the angles can be quite deceptive. The camera angles can be quite deceptive, but you see it quite clearly when they go into the turns there that Stephen Milne and Jale Elliott, the gap between them has reduced to around about 2 metres there. So Stephen Milne still with that advantage as they come down to 1400.
This Edinburgh Commonwealth Pool has seen some fantastic 1500 metre races in the past. The final in the 1986 Commonwealth Games was an absolute cracker. Little did we know at the time that one of the swimmers in that race would win the Olympics 2 years later, Duncan Armstrong of Australia. With 100 to go, it's another great race. Jale Elliott really pushing hard to try and close down that gap on Stephen Milne. Just think the Scotsman is going to hold out, but it's a terrific race.
Well, Stephen Milne just breathing to both sides, keeping an eye on Jale Elliott, and Jale Elliott really coming back now. See that, the gap is hardly anything as they go over this final turn, and Jale Elliott has pulled that early deficit right back. But a great turn again from Stephen Milne, and he pushes away from Elliott. Elliott has got it all to do again, and Stephen Milne with an advantage again, almost 3/4 of a body length here. He's coming into the closing stages now. Stephen Milne, it is going to be very, very tight at the end, but Stephen Milne is going to get the better of Jale Elliott. A great 1500 metres race there, and 15:16, a very swift last 100 there for Stephen Milne, but it had to be.
Just as predicted, Stephen Milne with that extra little kick from the last 50, powering home down from the 1450 mark. Jale Elliott pushing him hard all the way. Those are two very good swims, 15:16, 15:17 from both boys. I think they'll be pleased, I think they'll be tired, and they both got swims to come, so off to the swim down pool.
Well, Stephen Milne's got an interview first before he heads to that swim down pool. So we'll see if we can get his breath back for that very short interview that'll be with us very short time. Ollie Mortensen claimed third position there, 15:40.36, ahead of Harrison Coulter, 15:55.68. Swimmers for the minor places coming in now: Richard Laird, 16:10, Jack Bonsall in 16:11 in sixth position, Nathan Wells in 7th, 16:12, and Jamie Scholes just in there in lane number 1, 16:23.
If I'm not mistaken, Harrison Coulter with that swim underneath 16 minutes will have done that for the first time. That 1500 freestyle 15:55 along with his 200 freestyle 1:52. A really good first day of swimming here at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet. He's got another swim in the 200 freestyle, but again, like Stephen and like Jay, it's going to be a tough double to swim the 1500 and then not too many minutes later compete in a much shorter race.
There is the confirmed result there. Stephen Milne, 15:16.25, and it was a classic battle there with Jale Elliott, 15:17.18, two great times there.
Moving on to the ladies, 100 backstroke. The technical officials putting in the starting mechanism. Of course, the rules changed a few years back, and now the swimmers can put their toes on this ledge, which you see suspended from the starting blocks. All looks rather complex, but it's really quite simple, and the swimmers practice this before they come to meets, and they're becoming very proficient at it. Allows them just a little bit more purchase on those yellow touch pads, able to arch that back, generate some more power off the wall.
Stephen, congratulations. You were pushed all the way there at the end. How was that race for you? Just talk us through it.
Yeah, I was pleased with that. It's just getting this wee bits of race practice at like high-level competitions before the trials go ahead. So no, I'll look at the video and the splits for that and review how it went.
Well done, and you're just back from Indianapolis. So how are you finding it balancing your racing and your training schedule at the same time?
It's not too bad. Me and Anne communicate well, so I'll tell her how I feel, and then she'll work around the training, depending if I'm knackered or tired from travel or whatever.
Stephen, congratulations, well done. Thanks.
Well, Stephen Milne there with Helen on poolside, and he seemed quite satisfied with that swim. It was a good test for him at the end there. We thought he was going to swim away from the rest of the field in the early stages. Didn't quite turn out like that, but nevertheless a good swim there from Steve Milne. Be very pleased with that, as well Jay Lelliot as well. Two classic swims there in the 1500 freestyle. Youth final of the women's 100 metres backstroke now. You said, Alan, those backstroke ledges in place. The lineup for this one: Emma Harvey from Millfield goes in lane 1, Alaya Webb from Exeter City in 2, Eleanor Mitchell from London Aquatics in 3, Caitlin Bergen from Stockport Metro in lane number 4, Sarah Sylvest from Castrop in 5, Mia Slavin from Derventio in 6, and Katie Henderson Nova in 7, Sophia Hansen from Castrop in lane number 8. So very tight this one, and Bergen is the favourite for this one, 104.18 in qualification.
Apologies there, we're getting our wires and our words crossed, but we're untangling everything here, and that's a terrific turn. Terrific turn there from Bergen. Underwater work on backstroke. Of course, the swimmers can go 15 metres underwater, then they must have their head break the surface at the markers, and that's really been an advantage for her, Katie Bergen.
Katie Bergen just edging it now. Sarah Sylvester from Castrop pushing close in the closing stages, but Katie Bergen gets it 103.90, another improvement on her time from this morning. She went 104.18, a couple of tenths faster, 103.90. She will take that youth final ahead of Sarah Sylvester, 104.07. Eleanor Mitchell, 104.27. So the centre lane's taking the top 3 positions in that youth final.
Some nice improvements on heats to finals from most of the young girls there, and that's obviously what they and their coaches are looking for, to see that progression. Qualify by swimming well in the heats, and then see if you can raise yourself up, just lift your performance a notch or two by improving in the final, and that's what they've done, so well done to them.
And moving on to the B final, we have some juniors in the B final as well. I think at this Edinburgh International, the juniors could choose to swim in the kind of A or B finals or the youth finals.
Indeed, and as I said before, some of these younger swimmers will have a very firm eye fixed on those British Championships and those international youth team places in just a few weeks' time.
Lexi Waller, one of those junior swimmers, goes in lane number 1. Arthur Midlothian, Karen Reid from Edinburgh University in 2, Emily Crane from Loughborough University in 3, Rachel Wellings, East Region in 4, Natasha Houghton, University of Stirling in 5, Sarah Bro from Denmark in 6, Courtney Price from Nova in 7, and Harriet West from Loughborough in lane number 8. Harriet West off to a great start there in the top of your picture there.
Again, pointing out some technical things to the younger swimmers who are watching, the advantage to be gained from the good dolphin kicking under the surface, and a great exponent of that there out in lane number 8, Harriet West.
Harriet West is actually second to the turn. Emily Crane getting the touch there in lane number 3, 30.44. But Harriet West again off the wall, bringing herself back into contention for the lead.
It is a fantastic display of underwater backstroke work. She may just fade over the last 10 or 15 metres, but really something to marvel at there from Harriet West on her dolphin kicking underwater.
Sarah Bro in 6, maybe coming to the 4 here. Harriet West is going to be in the mix, but Sarah Bro will take that one. Natasha Houghton in second, and Harriet West in third position. So Sarah Bro from Denmark, 103.04 in the end. Natasha Houghton, 103.25. It was tight there, just getting the touch ahead of Harriet West, showing great skills there, as you said, Alan.
Terrific, and again, to make the point from the previous final and several others, good improvements from the heats into the finals by the majority of the girls there, and they and their coaches, I think, will be pleased with a job well done.
The lights are dimmed now for the A final. One I'm looking forward to. Some quality backstroke swimmers here, some swimmers who've been in great form over the past year or so. Some experienced names as well, leading them out. It's Caroline McIntosh from Bridge of Dawn. She had a good swim. She was in one of the early heats this morning. Caroline McIntosh swam very well to force her way into this A final. And she looked in good shape this morning.
She certainly did, and this is a class field. Although it's a domestic field, it's very much a class field. The swimmers from all over the country are looking to take some senior scalps. Dawson and Simmons, the favourites in the two middle lanes.
So Catherine Greenslade in 2 from Edinburgh Uni, Charlotte Evans in 3. We move on to Kathleen Dawson, the Scottish record holder, in 4. Elizabeth Simmons, twice an Olympian, in 5. Kirsty Simpson, who's shown good form over the past year as well. Aberdeen performance, she goes in 6. Chloe Golding in 7, City of Manchester Aquatic. And Anna Newlands from Edinburgh University completing the lineup, the third Edinburgh University swimmer in this A final.
Lizzie Simmons is a great underwater starter, and Turner look for her gaining an advantage on that in this final if she can.
She likes this pool. I've seen her swim here many times. She always performs very well. The short course championships is always a good target for her. Now based in Edinburgh, of course.
She is. She's moved up very, very recently to work here at the University of Edinburgh, and just as expected, she's off to a slight lead with that great underwater work off the start.
Now Kathleen Dawson, 1 lane down from her, not letting her get away now. Kathleen Dawson, that superb European Championships last year in the London Aquatic Centre, trying to build on that form that she showed then in those Euros, bringing it into this season. And Kathleen Dawson is just in the lead by 0.1 of a second from Simmons, but can Simmons regain the lead underwater?
Very little between the two swimmers. Dawson a little bit short on the wall there, I think, on her turn. She'll want to work on that, but she's usually a very, very strong finisher, and will be looking to get the edge ahead of Lizzie Simmons on the last portion of this race.
Looks like Dawson is just going to get that edge. Simmons just feeding in the closing stages, and Dawson coming on strong here, and 1 minute 0.36 for Dawson. A very good time there for Kathleen Dawson. That's some good early season form there for Dawson. Simmons in second in 101.02, and Charlotte Evans, it was 101.88 in third position.
I think Kathleen will be pleased with the result, the outcome of that race. 1 or 2 things to work on around the turn, but in terms of proximity to her best time, in terms of progression through the long course portion of the season, I think she'll be delighted with that. 60.3 is a really good promising swim from her. Of course, she'll be looking to get the touch ahead of all of the other female backstrokers in Britain come those trials in Sheffield at towards the end of April. And that's a good scalp, taking that of Simmons. Of course, she'll be trying to get herself into shape now that she's here in Edinburgh, and heading towards those British Championships with some determination.
Yeah, Kathleen Dawson will be one of the favourites for those British Championships. One of the top backstroke swimmers in GB now, but she won't have it all her own way. Some experienced names will be trying to get in ahead of Dawson, I'm sure.
I would imagine Georgia Davis will have something to say about that in 5 or 6 weeks' time.
The men's equivalent now. We start with the youth final. Joe Watt from City of Glasgow, closest to us. In lane number 1, Jamie Scholes from East Region, the East Region of England, that is, in lane number 2. Benjamin Stagg, Mount Kelly, in lane 3. Scott McClay, Perth City in 4. Will Gain from Nova Centurion in lane number 5. Scott Gibson, East Kilbride in 6. Finn Linton, Mount Kelly in 7. And Thomas Clare from East Region again in lane number 8.
Scott McClay opting to swim in this junior final. He was clearly the fastest swimmer in the heat this morning, and he's out 27.64. He should be able to go 56 seconds off that. He's got control of this race with 25 metres to go and is really powering home.
Yeah, Scott McClay looking supreme here as he hits the front of the field, being chased by Will Gain of Nova Centurion, the green cap there, but there's no catching Scott McClay there. The Perth City swimmer is coming in now, and yep, 56 it is, 56.58 for Scott McClay. He is in first place in this youth final, and it is, well, a meet record, we're being told here, 56.58. It's a junior, a youth record there for this meet, just by 2/100ths of a second. So great performance there from Scott McClay, claiming the meet youth record.
Yeah, great swim from Scott. He was really positive from the start, good underwater, as we've been saying, on the backstroke. He's also coached by Ann Dixon, same club as Stephen Milne, who we saw power home in that 1500 freestyle. She was not pleased with Scott's start or turn from this morning. I hope she's a little bit better pleased with that swim and with that time of 56.58.
Yeah, you coaches are hard to please, aren't?
Always striving for better.
Well, let's see what we can get from at this next final. Chris McComb goes in 1. This is the B final of the 100 metres backstroke. Chris McComb from Edinburgh University in 1. Kieran Beard-Jones from Stockport Metro in 2. Nicholas Pyle from Newcastle in 3. Callum Barrett from Loughborough Uni, he goes in 4. Harry Chesterman from Millfield in 5. Greg Watson, City of Glasgow in 6. Kyle Chisholm from Borough of Kirklees in 7. And Danish swimmer Gustav Feiberg goes in lane number 8.
Very, very little between these swimmers this morning from the heat swims, and I think this race will be equally tight in the final.
Harry Chesterman off to a good start there. Lane number 5 leads them through, the Millfield swimmer. Nicholas Pyle going well, City of Newcastle swimmer in lane number 3 may well be in second position. They're all coming back on the Newcastle swimmer there as they go into the turn. Chesterman it is, ahead, clearly ahead. Callum Barrett in second position. Greg Watson it was in third, ahead of Nicholas Pyle, and a good turn there has taken Chesterman a little bit clear.
Nice long range stroke from Chesterman, although he's beginning to tire a little bit now, but he came off that wall really well again, using the underwater work to great advantage. Tight finish, Paul.
Oh, and they're all catching him up now. It's all on the finish now. It's going to be a blanket finish between 4 of them, and it's Nicholas Pyle who gets in. 57.76 there, 1/100th of a second against the long-time leader Harry Chesterman. He loses out right at the death there with Callum Barrett in third position, just a 10th of a second further back. But my goodness, what a great finish there from Nicholas Pyle. Chesterman, well, he was really tying up towards the end there. I thought he might have just held on, but just lost it by 1/100th.
27.3, I think he'll be disappointed not to have gone faster than that. Maybe a positive swim for him, but I certainly think pacing wise he's either got to go out a little bit more controlled or he's got to work on that back end speed.
Well, talking about pacing, right on cue, Craig McNally is sometimes very famously leaves it all to the last gas. Certainly in the 200 I've seen him come from way back. Let's see what he can do in this 100.
Yeah, he's certainly a strong finisher. He, in the 100, tends to be a little bit closer together with the splits anyway, which is the classic way of doing it. But 200 wise, he's very, very strong on that back 50. And let's see what his stroke rate does on the second half of this 100, because he really picks it up.
Oh, Matej Rysgaard from Denmark goes in 1. He was in one of the early heats, forced his way into the safe final. There is McNally from representing City of Glasgow now in lane number 2. Charlie Balderson, University of Stirling, in lane number 3. Connor Ferguson, swim all-star, He'll be the man to beat, you would imagine. He goes in lane number 4. Daniel Cross from Loughborough University in lane number 5. Stephen Milne back in the water again. Fresh, if that's the word, from his 1500 freestyle just a short time ago. Joe Elwood goes in 7. And Liam White from Exeter City in lane 8.
And mixing it up with the backstrokers here, Stephen Milne. He's tough, he's strong, I'm sure he'll not mind this on the backstroke.
I love these shots of the backstroke starts, Alan. They're up on the platform. You see the real technique, the arch of the back as they get off that wall here.
Look at Craig McNally in the blue cap with the G of Glasgow. Right out of the water, every part of his body at some point in the air. Great technique.
All the swimmers pretty close to that 15-metre mark, using that underwater. But there, as we suspected, in lane number 4, Swim Ulster's Conor Ferguson just leading the field here. He's been pushed by Joe Elwood up there in lane number 7 as well. But it is first to the wall, Conor Ferguson, 26.76.
He's a really positive swimmer, Conor. I love the way he swims. He doesn't hold back at all. Heats, semi-finals, finals. He really goes for it every single time. And I think it's a lesson to all that you can attack and be successful in every swim.
Well, Daniel Cross is pressurising him here. It looks like it could be Conor Ferguson holding on, but Cross coming back, and also coming back as well, Charlie Balderson in 3, but it does look like Ferguson will get it. Ferguson does get it, 55.69, a little bit slower than he went this morning. Daniel Cross, 56.09 in second position, and in third place was Charlie Balderson, just finishing ahead of the fast finishing McNally.
Good mid-season performances there from the boys. It's difficult to know just exactly what kind of state people are in, whether they're in form, whether they're working hard, whether they've just come down a little bit on training for this kind of meet. So we can't draw any conclusions from times, but we could certainly look at performances and see how people are progressing through this season towards the big events later on.
Not too bad a time for Stephen Milne there, 57.68, so that's a reasonable time, just very slightly slower than he went in the heats this morning.
That's just a little bit of a spike, I think, before he goes off and does his more significant portion of swim down. We can't see the swim down pool from here, but right behind that East District banner that you see on the second portion of the first 50 of these races are the swimmers who are in some cases warming up and activating themselves for the races, and in most other cases the swimming down after these finals, making sure that they rest, recover and rehydrate after the races before day 2, which will start of course tomorrow morning.
Absolutely, some of these swimmers with multiple events, and we see Stephen Milne already in the pool twice there. We'll see Jill Elliott come back a little bit later on. And talking about multiple events, we move into the first skins events, where it's multiple events in a very short period of time.
It is. This is tough. This is a novel concept. Not too many meets use this format anymore. It really does test the speed, endurance, stamina of the swimmers. They're able to, their ability rather, to repeat times of a good intensity, a good speed, and then see what they can do on that last one head to head. So, a brief explanation of the skins. The first skins we have are the youth skins: Kaylee Decker, Sophie Smith, Rachel Wellings, Megan Maybanks, Mia Caspers, Emma Harvey, Jemima Hall, and Emma Govan. And the swimmers will swim 50 metres freestyle. It's not about winning it, it's about avoiding being in the last 2 positions. So we have to avoid being in 7th or 8th position here to make it to the next round of these skins here. Looks like lane number 4, Megan Maybanks, is going to take this one. Kaylee Decker swimming well from the outside lane, and it is the 2 in lane 7 and 8. Jemima Hall and Emma Govan look like they are the ones that are going to drop out, but Rachel Wellings making it in 6th position by just 1/100th of a second. Some good swimming there from the ladies out in front. East region, including primarily Ipswich and the towns and clubs around there. 26.86, an encouraging swim from Mia Maspers.
And the boys' youth event is the 50 metres butterfly. That'll be the first of these skins. Josh Riesbeck from Doncaster Darts. He goes in lane number 1. Benjamin Garrett from East Region in 2. Johan Bragason from Castrop in 3. Tom Bealey in 4 from Aberdeen Performance. Tom Downs, Exeter City in 5. David Shipman in 6 from East Region. Benjamin Martin from Pioneer 79 in 7. And Mark Hill from East Kilbride in lane number 8.
Certainly the man to watch here, Tom Bailey, who's in the fastest lane. Lane 4, qualifying 26.01. Better known as a 200 fly swimmer, but as we've been saying this evening, a good exponent of that underwater dolphin action. Of course, highly appropriate since this is butterfly, but Tom is very adept at that and showing that with a clear lead going down this 50 fly.
Yeah, Tom Bailey has gone out fast here. He's been pressed now by lane number 3, John Bragason. Tom Bailey will take this one. Bragason Bragason second, Tom Downs in third, and the last two, it's the outside lanes. Josh Riesbeck 26.56 in 7th, and Mark Hill 26.61. Fine margins again, Alan, 4/100ths of a second, but you know, if you can conserve your energy there and just make it into the next round, that's the way to do it.
It's a good swim from Tom Bailey, a quarter of a second faster than he was this morning. He'll be pleased with that. Tom now part of the new University of Aberdeen setup in the Granite City, coached by Patrick Miley.
Well, the next event is on the way out. We're just getting the heads up there. It looks like the next event's coming out. It's a skins for the 50 freestyle. Maybe we were mistaken there, Alan. Maybe that wasn't a skins for the youth there.
The way Tom Bailey attacked that race, I don't think he was prepared to go 650s. So, yeah, I think that was a good, encouraging quarter of a second improvement for him. But these ladies here are going to have to be very careful with their effort. You don't want to be risking being last and eliminated, but equally you want to make sure you have something left towards the end so that you can get yourself into the final and get your hand on the wall first.
Well, we are on the skins now after that false start, if you like. We have the women's 50 metres freestyle. Mona McSharry from Swim Ulster, Emily Beckman from Denmark, Jessica Steiger from Gladbeck. Pernilla Bloom will be the favourite for this one, and she goes in lane 4. Lucy Hope in 5, Emily Barkley in 6, Kirsty Simpson in 7, and Katie Stark in lane number 8.
We've just seen Kirsty Simpson in the 100 backstroke final. I don't think any of the others, apart from her and Mona McSharry, have competed this evening, so there should be some freshness there. Of course, Olympic champion will be the favourite for this event, Pernille Bloom from Denmark, a surprise winner in that final session in Rio, but a terrific swim to get her hand on the wall first in this fastest of women's freestyle races.
Well, she was very much the fastest this morning. 24.68 was a new Edinburgh International Meet record. So we'll see what she can do here from lane number 4. Very good start there in lane number 2. Emily Beckman was away fast there, but the favourite, Pernille Bloom, just hits the front there. Lucy Hope going well in lane number 5. Again, it's about losing the final 2 swimmers. This time it's about losing the final 2 swimmers. Pernille Bloom looking very good, stretching away from the rest, and 24.51. Well, another Edinburgh International Meet record there. Great swim there for Pernille Bloom. Lucy Hope in 2nd place, Emily Bartley in 3rd.
Those first 2 swimmers will be very, very pleased with those times as standalone 50 freestyles. 24.51, 25.54 are great swims for the Pernille Bloom and Lucy Hope. They may pay for that early speed, but this is a test of endurance, as I said, and those girls are really, really setting the standard on that first 50.
Well, the men's 50 metres butterfly. Jamie Graham in 1, Marcus Olsen in 2, Adam Taylor in 3, Adam Barrett in 4, Sam Horrocks in 5, Callum Bain in 6, Alex Bowen in 7, Greg Watson in lane number 8. Well, 2 Adams, Adam Taylor, Adam Barrett should contest this one. Also Sam Horrocks going well in lane number 5. The centre lane though is Adam Barrett, who's coming away from the rest. He was good this morning as well, and he is going to be head and shoulders above everyone here. Very close for the minor places. It is second place to Sam Horrocks, third place to Callum Bain, fourth to Adam Taylor, equal fifth for Alex Bowen and Greg Watson, so that'll be good enough for them. And in sixth place, well, Alex Bowen and Greg Watson, equal fifth should I say, but Jamie Graham and Marcus Olesen 25.40 and 25.42 in 7th and 8th.
Just like the ladies, Adam Barrett will be pleased with that 23.92. Is about half a second off his personal best time, but pretty good stuff for this time of the season. And it'll be really interesting, Paul, to see what the drop-off is from the first to the last 50 for these ladies and gents in these skins events.
Well, 24.51 was Pernille Bloom in that first round of skins. We lose another 2 this time. It's the outside lanes that went before. Katie Stark and Mona McSharry not taking the start for this next round of skins. We have Emily Beckman in 2, Jessica Steiger in 3, Pernille Bloom in 4, Lucy Hope in 5, Emily Barclay in 6, and Kirsty Simpson in 7. Great start, Kirsty Simpson.
Interesting tactics here. Lucy Hope obviously went for that first swim, 25.54. She has given up the ghost here. Very, very pleased with that personal best time in the first 50, and is handing over the advantage to the other girls.
And the first 4, well, it is Pernille Bloom, 26.70. She did what she had to do there. Emily Beckman, a good swim there, 26.84. Jessica Steiger in 27.17. And Kirsty Simpson will make that one, 27.41. Emily Barclay went 28.07. She will drop out, as will Lucy Hope. As you said, Alan, job done for Lucy Hope. That first one was what she wanted to do.
And of course, swimmers and coaches have complete freedom and responsibility to make decisions about that. Lucy swam a personal best time. Her target, of course, will be to make the British team for the World Championships in the summer, and the Scottish team for the Commonwealth Games next April in the Gold Coast, and she's looking well on her way this season with that swim, and she'll be off to swim down now.
And the other ones, the other 4, will make their way up for the next round of skins. It's the second round for the men here. Adam Taylor, Adam Barrett, Sam Horrocks, Callum Bain, Alex Bowen and Greg Watson. No swimmers in the lanes closest to us. It does look like Adam Barrett again out in front here. Sam Horrocks in 5, Adam Taylor in 3. The fight is really on the far side here. Callum Bain, Alex Bowen and Greg Watson, who are going to be the 2 to drop out. Greg Watson has clinched the 4th position there, and Callum Bain and Alex Bowen look like they are going to be dropping out, 5th and 6th position.
Yeah, there will be apologies for I was interrupted in midstream in the last interlude. I was tapped on the shoulder from somebody from behind. Didn't realise we were live streaming, of course, for this. I was about to say Adam Peaty famously swam some terrific 50 breaststrokes in the skins event here previously and showed his toughness and his resilience. That's what we're looking for from these ladies and gents on the 50 free and 50 fly respectively. The walk down the pool gets slower and slower as these skins are swum.
Absolutely. Talking about Adam Peaty, Melanie Marshall here. of course, the Coach of the Year last year, and well deserved for all the performances that Adam Peaty did. He was absolutely supreme. Kirsty Simpson out on her own there. We dropped one this time. Emily Beckman, Jessica Steiger, Pernilla Bloom, and the last home swimmer is Kirsty Simpson. Can she force her way into the final three?
Feeling the pressure, I think, a little bit. Kirsty Simpson off that dive. Some nice underwater butterfly work. The first thing she did, popped her head up and breathed. She needed to get some of that air inside her lungs.
And it does look like Kirsty Simpson struggling to get in that top three here. Emily Beckman and Pernilla Bloom, of course, will take that one. 26.68. Beckman in second. Jessica Steiger in third. And Kirsty Simpson will drop out this time. The one swimmer to go is the last GB swimmer. So the three overseas visitors will fight it out for the top three places in the skins.
They will, and of course it does get tactical on that race, because if there is somebody who's naturally going to fall away, the other two or three swimmers will be able to see that and just conserve a little bit of extra energy for the races to come. Trying to shift a bit of lactate there, shaking the legs on the way down. Pernilla Bloom.
Pernilla Bloom, of course, that meet record in that very first 50 there, and she has just conserved the energy a little bit in the swims after that. The two swims that she's had, it's all going to be building up though, the lactic acid, doing these fast 50s.
You see the flags of all the competing nations around the pool and their coverage here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool in Edinburgh. It's fantastic international meet in every sense, not just in name. And here we go with an international field on the skins 50 fly.
Adam Taylor, Adam Barrett, Sam Horrocks there, the three in a row. Greg Watson in the outside lane is not going to make it. The three swimmers there, three English swimmers, Adam Taylor, Adam Barrett and Sam Horrocks. Adam Barrett taking that one, 25.53. Adam Taylor in second and Sam Horrocks in third. And Greg Watson, who won that titanic battle to make it into the last four, he finishes in fourth position. It's the two Adams and Sam Horrocks that will make it to the final three.
Get serious now. No holding back.
Three swimmers now left. Emily Beckman, Jessica Steiger and Pernilla Bloom. Lanes 2, 3 and 4. I wonder what Pernilla Bloom has got left in the tank. She's definitely the class of this field. But as we've said, it's all about stamina here, because it's a number of 50 freestyles, fast 50 freestyles, all in a very short space of time. Emily Beckman has been impressive off the start there in lane number 2. Jessica Steiger in 3. And Bloom the favourite in lane number 4. And again, Beckman, a good start there, using that underwater to great advantage, giving herself a good chance here. We have one more swimmer to drop here before we have a head-to-head final. Jessica Steiger is in danger here. Pernilla Bloom looks safe, as does Emily Beckman here. I don't think there's anything Steiger can do here, and it's going to be the two Danish swimmers who will progress to the final. And it is Bloom 26.71, Beckman in second 27.16, and Jessica Steiger in third.
It's going to be a good head-to-head. Two Danish swimmers.
Pernilla Bloom there in the 26 second range again, 26.71, so fairly consistent stuff from the great Danish champion. And in the men's event now, the men's last three: Adam Taylor, Adam Barrett and Sam Horrocks. 3, 4 and 5. What do you think, Alan? Is it going to be two Adams in the final? Sam Horrocks get in amongst them?
This is going to be much closer, I think, than the race we've just seen from the girls. I think the Danes were the favourites to progress through to the final, but I'm not sure how this one's going to be. I'll say Sam and Adam.
Oh, well, there's definitely going to be an Adam. Let's put it that way. Good start there. Sam has started very well, actually. Sam Horrocks, the top lane of the three there. And the two Adams coming back strongly. Sam Horrocks trying to hold on there. He really started well, but the two Adams coming back. And it's going to be very tight at the finish. And it is. Adam Taylor takes it. And Adam Barrett in second position. But my goodness, that was a tight one. 15/100ths of a second separating all three.
Saved the bacon of your reputation there, Paul. No
That's
pun intended.
It was the two Adams. As I said, 5/100ths of a second. You really couldn't split that with the naked eye, but very good contest between these three, and you can just tell that it's getting a little bit tougher out there now as they get to these closing stages.
Talking of saving the bacon, here are two Danish swimmers in the women's 50 free skins final.
Oh dear. You've been saving that one up, Alan, haven't you?
I have.
have.
I'll be honest with you, it's bad punning at its baddest.
Pernilla Bloom going in 4, closest to us. Emily Beckman has moved lane. She is now in 5, and that trademark start for Beckman. Pernilla Bloom first into a stroke and really going away strongly. Beckman now with her work cut out, but Pernilla Bloom, the Olympic champion, looking bad, showing her class here. I wonder what time Pernilla Bloom is going to get. She went 24.51 in the very first skin here, and it's going to be slower than that, but it's going to be in the 25-second range. 25.93. Pernilla Bloom takes that one. Emily Beckman, well, she knew the writing was on the wall. She finishes 28.03.
That's why she's Olympic champion. Class tells in the end, from the very start when she took her out with a good 24.5 seconds, she managed herself through the other rounds and had more than enough to take that final in another really good swim. And after all those 50s with very little rest, she'll definitely be swimming down for a wee while now.
The sprinter's not used to this level of activity at the big competitions, but it is the two Adams in this one. Adam Barrett closest to us in lane number 4. Adam Taylor goes in lane number 5.
I'm going to call this one for Adam.
Oh, you got in there before me. Who's going to get it off quickest now? Only hundredths of a second between them in the skins before that. It's going to be a great contest here. Adam Taylor going well in lane number 5. Adam Barrett coming back in lane number 4. The lowest lane here, Adam Barrett maybe just has the edge, but can Adam Taylor come back in lane number 5? It is very close. You really can't split them all on the finish, and it's Adam Taylor will take that one. 25.78. 26.09 for Adam Barrett, and just right at the death there, Alan. Adam Taylor just getting his stroke right into the wall.
I think you find I called that.
That's why you're the national coach, Alan.
Indeed,
you can spot a winner.
I can, and I can also spot a swimmer with an elephant on his back, and Adam Barrett looked as if he had a baby elephant on his back going down the last few strokes of that 50. He's very much the power merchant in there, and he was just edged out by the guy with the better speed endurance. Adam Taylor taking a nice win there in that skins 50 fly. The boys will have earned their prize and their rest, and again, like the girls, off behind the screens to swim down.
That looked like hard work for the two Adams there. They've been hurried out of the pool there. Come on, hurry up, lads, hurry up, get out there.
It's not like you've been doing anything for the last 10 minutes.
Ah, dear. And there we are, Pernilla Bloom, just about to go to her interview, still panting from that effort there in the 50 freestyle. She is down on pool deck for that
Congratulations,
interview.
both of you, in the skins event. Pernille, can I ask you, it seems more of a test of endurance, that event, so can you just talk me through it?
Yeah, for me as a sprinter, it's very hard to do 5. So I just wanted to get a really good 50 in, and I did that from the beginning, and of course that's hurting me throughout the 50s, but it was great to compete that way.
Well done, congratulations. And Adam, well done, congratulations on your race. Can you just talk us through that?
Yeah, there's a great field here, so I was just trying to be a bit tactical about it and not spend too much energy too fast. And yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed it.
Well done, both of you. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Well, off for their well-deserved swim day, I think. Very good. That is your skins champions for this evening. The women's 50 freestyle and the men's 50 metre butterfly. Now we know the format of the skins. We won't make the same mistake again. There are no youth skins. We'll remember that.
We knew the format, but we didn't quite catch on to the fact that it was just for the seniors. The youth swimmers, of course, will be delighted at only having to do 150. But in this next series of races of 200s, fly for the ladies and freestyle for the boys, they've got 450s to complete, and this looks like a really tough, competitive youth final.
Nikki Miller had a good swim this morning, 2:16.59.
Saw my best time last weekend as part of the British youth team programme. Was in Indianapolis for 4 days of training with 16 other young female swimmers, and was joined, of course, by the senior team for the Pro Series Grand Prix. So saw my best time of 2:14, and we'll be looking to get close to that this evening.
Full lineup for this one. Shannon Stott from the East Region goes in lane number 1. Elizabeth Harris and Katie Bergen from Stockport Metro side by side in 2 and 3. Nikki Miller, a big favourite for this one from East Kilbride in lane number 4. First to the wall is Nikki Miller, 30.56. Megan Allison from Northview Cymru, a Welsh swimmer in lane number 5. Rita Gard from Castrop in lane number 6. Megan Sherd from Stockport Metro in 7. Taylor Finlayson from Warrender Baths in lane number 8. But Nikki Miller started well, and she leads the two swimmers either side of her. Katie Bergen back in the water again, and Megan Allison.
Nikki, one of our toughest, most resilient female swimmers. She swims a range of events: 200, 400, 800 freestyle, 200 fly, 400 IM, sometimes even a 200 IM, and this is a tough event, and she's doing really well. 64.6 will put her on target to get close to that personal best time set just last weekend in the C final of the Indianapolis Pro Series.
Well, Nikki Miller stretching that lead that she has had from the early stages, and looks like a good tussle for second position though. Katie Bergen, Megan Allison and Risa Gard all in the mix for that one, but Nikki Miller going away there, 139.53, continuing that good pace and looking strong, Alan. She comes into the final 50.
Yeah, she had the 400 freestyle earlier on, which she swam in a even pace manner, really controlled, and she's looking to bring this last 50 of the 200 fly strongly back, coached by Andy Figgins in the East Kilbride Club. Trains long course and short course, will be well used to this length of pool and looking really strong down this last 25.
Well, she is going to become the youth champion here at the Edinburgh International 2017. Nikki Miller, the camera just about catching up with her there. 2:14.63, she'll be happy with that one. In second position, it's Risa Gard, 2:18 dead, and Megan Allison in third, 2:18.80, just ahead of Megan Sherd in fourth position there. The result is confirmed. Nikki Miller, convincing victory there, 2:14.63.
Yeah, she'll be really pleased with her day's swimming here, given the rigours of the training, competing and travelling in the last couple of weeks. She'll be pleased, and I think she'll move on from that to Saturday and Sunday with some encouragement, some positivity, and that'll take her very, very nicely into the final set of preparations for the British Championships.
I think that time for Nikki Miller is inside the meet record for youth, so a very impressive time there, 2:14.63. She went 2:16 earlier to break the youth meet record, and she's bettered that again this evening, so great stuff there from Nikki Miller, taking the youth title. Moving on to the B final of the 200 metres butterfly. We have Marika Ehring from Gladbeck in lane 1, Emma Rolson from Stockport Metro in 2, Chantel Austin from Bath University in 3, Tara Highworth from Lincoln Vulcans in 4, Serena Wiggerum from City of Glasgow in 5, Molly Roothouse, City of Manchester Aquatic in 6, Luna Donfelberg from Hovenstatens in 7, and Molly Wright from Nova in lane number 8.
Lane 5, Serena Iguaram from City of Glasgow, just under 220. One of our most promising young female swimmers in Scottish swimming, a member of the youth development squad, swimming under the guidance of Ian Wright and Danielle Brayson in the City of Glasgow programme, based out of Tollcross, of course the scene of the site of the Commonwealth Games in 2014 and the European Championships next summer in 2018.
Yeah, great venue for the City of Glasgow swimmers to train in. And Serena Iguaram always seems to have a smile on her face even after a 200 metres butterfly.
Perennial smiler. She's the cheeriest person around and lights up a room or a pool every time she's there. She's not getting it all her own way here though. Tara Haworth, who's in our former member of the youth development and youth squad, with a nice first 100, swimming out of Lincoln Vulcans and taking this turn of fly out nice and strong.
Yeah, Tara Haworth, the Lincoln Vulcans swimmer, and Serena Iguaram was, they were the only two swimmers under the 220 mark. And now going into that final turn, it is pretty close still. Both in the 142 range, 142.22 and 142.67. And can Serena Iguaram pull something back? Good turn though for Tara Haworth to take her clear again.
A little bit slow around the walls there, both girls, feeling the pace, feeling the intensity of this turn and fly. Serena coming back strongly, and don't count her out over this last 15 metres.
And Serena now trying to come back on terms with Tara Haworth in the very closing stages here, but it looks like Tara Haworth is just going to catch the win here. 2:18.42, just half a second ahead of Serena Iguaram. Both swimmers faster than they went in qualification, so they will be pleased with that one. Third place was Luna Donfelberg from Hovenstatens in a time of 2:21.25. Two good swims at the front there.
Indeed, yes, Serena with a personal best time, if I'm not mistaken, and she'll take that into the more important meets to come, the National Age Group Championships in Aberdeen at the end of March, beginning of April, 3 weeks ahead of those British Championships that we've mentioned a few times, which are in Sheffield, middle of April, where all of the top swimmers in Great Britain will be competing for places in international teams.
I'll move on to the A final, the 200 metres butterfly as well. And wow, some big names in this one. Well, Hannah Miley is going in lane number 1, continuing her range of events that she's doing here at the Edinburgh International. We get used to seeing Hannah Miley swim in a number of events over a weekend.
We do. She's been doing it for an awful long time and really owns most of the records in the record book for Scottish senior and junior swimming, although it's very, very pleasing that some of our younger swimmers are taking those junior marks away from Hannah, one of whom of course is Kiana McInnes, who set the turn and fly record just last week.
Yeah, Kiana McInnes in 2 right next to Hannah. Isabel Grant, City of Sheffield in 3. Laura Stevens in lane number 4. Plymouth Leander. Holly Hibbett from Stockport Metro in 5. Emma Day, Loughborough University in 6. Emily Large from Newcastle in 7. And Tane Bruce completes the line-up in lane number 8 for Edinburgh University. I think we said earlier in that previous heat, Nikki Miller set the junior record, but of course Kiana McInnes was faster this morning, so Kiana McInnes would be the junior record holder there, 2:14.11, the youth record holder, I should say, for the Edinburgh International Meet. And let's see if she can go a little bit faster this evening.
I'm sure she will. She'll be chasing that time of 2:11.6 from last weekend, and this is a pretty competitive domestic field here. Hannah has the fastest personal best time, but junior swimmers Emily Large and Laura Stevens very much on form at the moment and will be looking to take the scalp of the more illustrious colleague swimming in lane 1.
Well, Hannah Miley, of course, a great Olympian for GB's competed at the very top level and still competes at that very top level. She is a Scottish record holder in this one. That was some time ago for Hannah Miley, concentrating of course on the individual medley, the distance individual medley events. She is just being headed by Kiana McInnes. It's all very close though at the front of the field, looking like Laura Stevens possibly just leading. Also going well in lane 3 is Isabel Grant. And the swimmers, 4 swimmers all in a row at the top of your picture there. Holly Hibbett, Emma Day, Emily Large and Tane Bruce. But it's still pretty tight as they come to the halfway point.
It certainly is, and Kiana McInnes won the B final here last year from this same lane, lane 2, where she came back strongly, but I'm not sure if she can quite manage to do that this year. Laura Stevens, British International, Senior International at the World Short Course last December, looks to be challenging strongly for this at the moment, but Emily Large, who has swum under 2:10 last season, will also be looking to get a good swim in. Alice Thomas, the fastest in Britain this season, went 2:09 last weekend in Marseille. That's the standard the girls have to beat.
Emily Large at the top there is in 3rd position. Isabel Grant in lane 3 and Laura Stevens absolutely together in 1 and 2 positions there in lanes 3 and 4. It is really going to be a fight here down this final 50. Lane number 4, Laura Stevens just getting the edge here. Holly Hibbett coming back in lane number 5. Also Isabel Grant in lane number 3. It does look like lane number 4 though. Laura Stevens in the middle of those 3 leading swimmers is just about going to take this one with Holly Hibbett very close on the finish, and it is Holly Hibbett will take it in 2:11.15, just 0.16 ahead of Laura Stevens, and Laura Stevens was just pipped at the end there by Holly Hibbett, who didn't lead that race until the very final stroke.
Good racing from those girls. As we said earlier, it's not really about the times at this point of the season. It's about executing your race goals, your race plans, and competing tough, and sometimes you just have to do that. You're tired from training, you're tired from racing earlier on, or multiple races on a day, and you have to guts it out, as we say, and make sure that you execute. Particularly your finish on butterfly and getting your hands on the wall is exactly what Holly Hibbett managed to do there.
Yeah. Well, the 2 juniors in that particular final were faster than the time set in the heats this morning, so that'll be another meet record for the juniors there. As we move on to the men's 200 metres freestyle, the youth final. There is the lineup. Scott Gibson goes in lane number 1 for East Kilbride. Declan Hall goes in 2. Declan Hall from Wigan Best. Harry Constantine in 3. Harry Constantine from the East region. Harrison Coulter back in the water again. Stockport Metro in 4. Luke Turley from the East region in lane number 5. Scott McLeay from Perth City in lane number 6. Tony Joe Trett Oliver for Mount Kelly in lane 7, and Jack Watson, Aberdeen Performance, in lane number 8.
There's several swimmers in here have competed already this evening. Scott McLeay, who's got the early lead, was in that 100 backstroke. Harrison Coulter was in that 1500 when he went under 16 minutes, I think, for the first time. So there was some keen racing here. Scott McLeay not as quick as he wanted to be this morning, and he'll certainly be looking to perform a little bit better tonight. But early lead in lane 2 to Declan Hall.
Yeah, Declan Hall from Wigan Best with that qualification time of 1:56.67 and goes out in 55 seconds at the halfway point. Harrison Coulter, well, still continuing that good run of form there. Harrison Coulter 55.98 in 2nd position and looking pretty comfortable at the front of the field now. Harrison Coulter has hit the front, but Luke Turley is still challenging here. It's the 2 in the centre lanes, Harrison Coulter and Luke Turley in 4 and 5 as they come to that final turn.
Pacing, of course, critical in this as well as every other race, and Coulter had a great swim from an outside lane this morning, and that 1500 doesn't look to have dulled too much in terms of his speed, and it's a cracking race down the last 25, although just going to lose out, I think, to Luke Turley.
Luke Turley is just hitting the front at the vital time here. Looks like he's going to hold on here. Harrison Coulter trying to make a bid, but he can't catch Luke Turley. Luke Turley will take that one in 1:53.00. Harrison Coulter in second in 1:53.64. And Harry Constantine had a good strong finish there, 1:54.15.
Scott McLean, I think, having felt the pace a little bit from his good 56.100 backstroke. Multiple racing, multiple swimming, part of the build-up for all of these swimmers as they get ready for bigger events to come.
And straight on to the next one, which is the B final of this men's 200 freestyle. Jeffrey Chen from Bath University in 1. Cameron Brodie goes for University of Stirling in lane number 2. Martin Walton, his Stirling teammate, in lane number 3. Kyle Chisholm, Borough of Kirtlees in 4. Thomas Sinclair, Bath University in 5. Marcus Svensson from Kastrup in 6. Matthias Reisgaard from Denmark in 7. And Ryan Reeder from Derventio in lane number 8.
Just over a second and a half separating these boys, young men, from the heats. I don't think there'll be very much in it at the finish here either.
Kyle Chisholm in 4, the black cap of Borough of Kirtlees. And a pretty even start, you would say. No one really showing in the early stages. Maybe Kyle Chisholm within that centre lane, just maybe edging it as they come to the first 50. Also going well, probably Marcus Svensson in lane number 6, and Matthias Reisgaard as well. Yeah, Chisholm first to the wall, Reisgaard in second, and Svensson in third. Not much in it though, only 0.3 of an advantage on that first 50.
Of course, we have the reigning world champion in this event, and James Guy, and he was part of that men's 4x2 freestyle team that won the silver medal in Rio Olympics last summer. He's not here, but interestingly, saw him a very good turn and fly last weekend, 1:57.0 in America, and he sets the standard in Britain for this event. We'll see the faster guys to come in the next final, but as predicted, this is going to be a really tight race.
Yeah, Kyle Chisholm just about edging it as they come up to this final turn here, and next to him, 2 lanes across, is Marcus Svensson from Kastrup. They look like the most likely to claim the top 2 places here. Just coming back into contention as well in lane 2 is Cameron Brodie.
Talking of 200 butterflies, Cameron Brodie, the national record holder here in Scotland, looking for an encouraging race over 200 freestyle. He's just going to be edged out, I think, of this by his teammate who's finishing strongly, Martin Walton, but the 2 early leaders, I think, are hanging on to take this one.
Well, Martin Walton really coming back strongly in the closing stages here. Martin Walton really pushing here, but Kyle Chisholm may well just hold on just by half a stroke there, and Kyle Chisholm takes it. Martin Walton gets up for second position, Marcus Svensson in third, and Cameron Brodie in fourth position. 1:53.39 for Kyle Chisholm. He will take that one. Half a second almost the advantage to Martin Walton. We finished strongly there in that final 50.
He did. Indeed, he'll be relatively pleased, I think, certainly with his pacing and his strength at the end. These are not close to best times for some of the boys, but the way they're swimming, I'm sure, will please them and please their coaches. They're not dying off. Several of them coming back strongly, even pace swimming, and I think if that's their race strategy, then a big tick in the box. Very pleased. Move on to another final phase of training and execute the same but faster race plans come Sheffield.
Yeah, not long to go for those big championships, of course, in Sheffield. We move on to the A final here. Swimmers making their way out on to the pool deck, led out by Craig McLean from University of Stirling. Brendan Highland from Swim Ireland goes in lane number 2. We spoke about James Guy. We've got a Millfield swimmer here in lane number 3, Alan Tom Kingham.
Yeah, teammate or former teammate of James Guy. James, of course, now at the University of Bath with his coach Joel, who's moved there as part of the British swimming restructure, but I'm sure training alongside James Guy will have rubbed off on Tom Kingham, and he'll be one of the guys to watch.
Daniel Scanning there in lane number 4 for Denmark. He was fastest into this final. Jay Lelliot back in the water again. What can he do in lane number 5? Sebastian Ovesen from Kastrup in lane number 6. And Regan Lloyd, Team Ipswich in lane 7 with Michael Gunning, London Aquatics in lane number 8. Well, we saw Stephen Milne back in the water, Alan. Jay Lelliot back in again after that 1500.
Yeah, he had a great last 300 in that 1500, and it's a tough double to do on this first evening of finals in Edinburgh. 1500 free and 200 free, but let's see what Jay is capable of doing. We're in darkness, Paul.
We are. It all adds to the atmosphere here. I hope it's deliberate.
As they say in Scotland, somebody hasn't paid the lecky bill.
Still reloading. Here with us.
Well,
At those British Championships in Sheffield, the men's 23 is the last day, the last race of the last session on the last day. So if you want to make the British team for the World Championships in this event, you're going to have to wait until the final swim of the session. Just like it was last year in Glasgow at the Olympic Trials, it's going to be a cliffhanger right till the very end, whether you're James Guy, Duncan Scott, Dan Wallace, Stephen Milne, you name it. You're going to have to wait till the end and be at your best on the last race.
and if you do make that team, you have got a great chance at being on the medal podium.
Well, of course we are the reigning world champions. I had the pleasure of taking a Scottish team to San Antonio, Texas, whilst the last World Championships were on, and it was with great delight that I watched the race live and amongst the Americans, who of course were beaten into second place by Great Britain at those World Championships. I have to say I took the win better than our American cousins did, so it was with great pleasure that the Scots and the Welsh who were at that meet celebrated the British win.
Well, it doesn't happen that often. The Americans are beaten in the big relays.
They had to draft in that guy Phelps, who people may have heard of.
That's
the
right.
GOAT, as they call him, the greatest of all time. He was in the Olympic team last year that beat Britain into second place, and of course he was swimming in San Antonio, so wasn't able to be at the World Championships. But they strengthened because they had to, and terrifically well done to take that gold medal in Rio. Here we go, Paul.
Not a bad man to call on if you need a big swimmer for your relay team. Let's see what we can do here. The 200 freestyle A final is underway. Just a recap on the lineup: Craig McLean, Brendan Hyland, Tom Kingham, Daniel Scanning, Jay Lelliot, Sebastian Ovesen, Regan Lloyd and Michael Dunning. Well, Jay Lelliot had a little bit more rest now for his 1500. He's had a few more minutes, and Daniel Scanning will be looking to try and burn the finish out of Jay Lelliot, but Lelliot started pretty well there. In fact, Daniel Scanning is first to the wall, and Sebastian Ovesen in second position, and in the outside lane Michael Gunning going well in that top lane, lane number 8.
Brendan Hyland in lane 2, probably more recognised for being a 200 flyer, as I've seen the boys mixing up their events and races this weekend, but I would expect one or two people to come through strongly on the second 100, and Jay Lelliot, despite his tiredness, is not out of this race yet.
No, absolutely not. Very, very close here. Jay Lelliot was 7th after the first 50. He's moved up to 5th now. Daniel Scanning still in first position. Michael Gunning going really well at the top of the picture there, challenging for this first position here, and it's between lane 4 and lane 8 at the moment, but Lelliot still in the mix there.
He certainly is, and I think he'll come off this last 50 strongly. We'll see what he has left, but Scanning, I think, is the man who's going to take this. It's a good sharp turn. Gunning going well out there in lane 8, perhaps the man to chase down. We'll see how he has the endurance to stick in.
Well, Gunning is just about holding on, but Scanning now coming through, And Jane Elliott challenging now for second position, but he's not going to catch Scanning. Also going well on lane 2. Brendan Highland coming back strongly, but it is going to be Scanning. We'll take this a final. Daniel Scanning takes it in 151.05. Michael Gunning it is for second position, 151.71. Swam really well from the outside lane there. And Brendan Highland, a good last 50 to claim third position, with Elliott just missing out by 2/100ths of a second.
Yeah, that was a tough double, as we said, from J.L. Elliott. 1500 at 15:17, at 200 at 1:52 with just a few minutes in between. It's a good workout for him. He'll enjoy another swim down, some rehydration, full dinner I'm sure, and then a very, very well earned good night's sleep.
Well, Scanning was the man to beat, and with the challenge from Michael Gunning in the outside lane there, made it interesting, but in the final 50 it was Scanning that swam away from the rest of the field. Well, we're back into darkness again, Alan, for the entrance of the women's 400 metres freestyle finalists. There's no youth finals or B finals because this is the fastest heat. We saw some swims of the 400 this morning. These swimmers didn't swim this morning, as they were the fastest 8 entry times.
Well, there's not much rest time for Hannah Miley or Holly Hibbett, who we've seen already in that ladies 200 fly final. Camilla Hattersley should be the fresher of these middle lane finalists. Of course, the national champion on this event, Olympian from last year. Abby Houston, also a Scot from Dumfries originally, now at City of Sheffield. She's been having a really encouraging season. She's set personal best times at British University Championships in Sheffield just a few weeks back, and we'll see how she can go here against the big guns.
There's the full lineup for this women's 400 freestyle fastest heat. Lucy Ellis, City of Sunderland, closest to us. Lucy McKenzie from Stockport Metro in lane number 2. Camilla Hattersley, City of Glasgow in 3. Hannah Miley in that centre lane Aberdeen performance. In lane 4, Holly Hibbett, seen her in good shape already this evening. Abby Houston in 6, Monique Oliver in 7, and Elizabeth Harris in lane 8. Stockport Metro swimmer. 3 Stockport Metro swimmers in this one. They are Lucy McKenzie, Holly Hibbett, and Elizabeth Harris. Good start though in lane number 3. Camilla Hattersley going out fast.
She's a really good starter for someone who swims the distance events predominantly. She has a great start, and if I was her, if I was advising her, which I'm sure Ian Wright, her coach, has been doing, it would be to try and get out, establish an early lead and hang on to this, because several of her main rivals will be hurting a little bit from previous events, and I think that's exactly what Camilla's doing.
Looks like she's got quite a long, rangy stroke there at the front. Camilla Hattersley, and she goes through in 1 minute .58. Hannah Miley through into second position, 101.65. So it's the 2 Scots at the moment heading the field in these early stages now. And Camilla Hattersley really going well here, pulling away from Hannah Miley. Hannah Miley, we know, despite the number of events that she has done this evening, will be strong in the closing stages.
Distinctive breathing pattern from Camilla, as always, breathing to both sides, sometimes every 2, sometimes every 3, but certainly using the full range of options available to her to balance her stroke, to keep an eye on her rivals. And although it is a long rangy stroke, she's certainly got a good rate going there, and I think we're pretty pleased with the way she's attacked this first 200 freestyle. She hasn't over raced this season, so this will be a good test for her.
Camilla Hattersley certainly come to the fore over the last couple of years, really moved through, made her way into the GB team, Scottish team as well, Commonwealth Games, so looking to build on that success she's had. She's gone over in 204.51. Camilla. Holly Hibbett moved into second position now, ahead of Hannah Miley, and also going well, Abby Houston there in lane number 6, now possibly pulling through into third position. But they're all chasing Camilla Hattersley at the moment. She has a big commanding lead at halfway, but coming back into the picture, Holly Hibbett with a very good second half of this race so far.
Holly Hibbett's a really tough swimmer. She's a really tough competitor. No matter what race she's doing, she always finishes strongly. You could never count her out of things, and although she's maybe not making much headway on Camilla as we head into the last 100, she's going to make sure that Camilla, if she does win this race, has earned it by chasing her all the way to the finish.
Well, coming up to the 300 mark now, Camilla Hattersley still with that lead now. Holly Hibbett looks like the only one that can challenge her, but Camilla Hattersley has got an advantage of almost exactly a second, 0.095 of a second, 0.95 of a second there for Camilla Hattersley. Holly Hibbett, I'm sure she'll be able to see Camilla Hattersley just 2 lanes over there, and she's pulling up alongside Hattersley, the City of Glasgow swimmer.
It's exactly what Holly Hibbett does when she races, when she swims. Camilla needed to gain some kind of advantage on her. Holly's powering her way through this final 100. Camilla just fading a little bit from a 63 high to a 64.5 on 100s 2 and 3. It's a good powerful turn from Holly, and if she can continue that rate, continue that strong leg kick down the last 50, I think she's got this race sewn up.
Well, the two swimmers now coming away from the rest of the field. Third place looks like it's going to go to Abby Houston. Second place to Camilla Hattersley, but Holly Hibbett has the momentum, bringing her into the final stages here. She's in the final 5 metres. Holly Hibbett swum this really well, and she gets it in 4:11.54. Camilla Hattersley in second position in 4:13.27, and Abby Houston in third in 4:16.93, with Monique Oliver coming through for fourth position. But a good finish there. Great second half of the race there for Holly Hibbett.
It really was, and given she swam 2:11 just a few minutes ago in the Tour de Fly to take that title, just proving her toughness, her resilience, her fitness of course, and her ability to race against tough opposition. Camilla Hattersley, an Olympic Games swimmer, as is Hannah Miley, so Holly Hibbett will be well pleased with that swim, I think.
Yeah, Camilla Hattersley certainly took it out fast, took it to the rest of the field, claimed that second position there, couldn't quite hold off the fast advancing Holly Hibbett. The final individual event of this evening, move on to the men's 200 metres individual medley. Now we've got 4 heats here. We have the first heat of the youth final. We've got 2 youth finals, so the times will be combined for these 2. And in the first one, Alistair McGee from South Ayrshire, Tony Joe Trent Oliver from Mount Kelly in 4, Ben Harrison in 5 from Mount Kelly, and Oliver O'Halloran. So we obviously had some sort of issue there, so we've had to swim 9 swimmers in the youth final.
I'm not sure what the glitch there has been. We have 8 lanes here at the Commonwealth Pool, so if there's 9 swimmers, we have to go 2 heats.
First to the wall in this one. We'll keep an eye on the time, so we'll compare it with the second heat that's still to come. Oliver O'Halloran, 27.60. Alistair McGee in second place now. O'Halloran out there, so 27.60. Decent start. They move on to the backstroke leg. 2 Mount Kelly swimmers in the centre there are not making much of an impression in the early stages here, but things could switch about in the 200 medley.
Mount Kelly head coach, of course, a well-kent face around these parts. Robin Brew, my former roommate on the Scottish national team. Fantastic swimmer and role model, Robin, who moved from swimming to triathlon and ultimately now to this role at Mount Kelly, where his father was the head coach many years ago.
So a proliferation of Mount Kelly swimmers swimming in the 200 medley this afternoon in the youth events, and I'm sure Robin's got something to do about that. Great 200 medley swimmer.
Yeah, I like coach, like swimmer, I think, and that's a great testament to the work that Robin is doing there, that so many of them are here, that they're swimming medley and doing so well.
Oliver O'Halloran leading Alistair McGee and leading the two Mount Kelly swimmers there. And it's going to be a tight finish. Everyone closing up here. The two Mount Kelly guys coming through in the centre lanes here. Alistair McGee going well in lane number 3, and he may well take it. But all four swimmers coming into the wall together there. This is one of the closest races we have seen all night here. And a great finish there for Ben Harrison from Mount Kelly. Well, excellent finish there. And it's Mount Kelly 1 and 2. And you would not have picked that going into the 50 freestyle leg.
Certainly no, but a really strong finish from Ben Harrison. I liked the stroke. I liked the way he picked it up over that last 50, and I'm sure he's been rewarded with a nice personal best time.
So 2:11.65. That will be the target for the next youth final, where we have 5 swimmers. Henry Dixon, another Mount Kelly swimmer, Cameron Muir from South Ayrshire, George Clough back in the water again. We saw him in the very first race of this evening. Ryan Retson goes in 5, and Jack O'Brien, City of Manchester Aquatic, goes in lane number 6.
The wonders of modern technology. People are tweeting and texting and picking up our idiosyncrasies. Paul, I've just been reminded by our former national team swimmer colleague Elaine Johnson, formerly Elaine Gilfillan. Scott McClay, of course, a pupil at Strathallan School, does much of his training there as well as representing Perth City. So shout out to Elaine and all of the people there supporting Scott McClay at Strathallan School.
Well, it's good that they're tuning in, listening to the expert analysis from Alan Lynn tonight. He's speechless.
Silence tells all. Let's move on to this 2 in the fly final. George Clough we saw and Cameron Muir we saw in the first event this evening, the men's 2 in the breaststroke. They should be well recovered from that, and in fact both are very good at medley. Ryan Retson, a former British champion.
Well, they should be very tough on the breaststroke as well. Cameron Muir and George Clough, you said. 200 breaststroke. George Clough, especially a very good swim in that 200 breaststroke here. Henry Dixon going well in lane number 2. The Mount Kelly is just second behind George Clough. And Ryan Retson, also a good medley swimmer as well, in lane number 5. Now pushing George Clough for the lead now. For George Clough, the red cap of Warrender, now just beginning to edge ahead of Ryan Retson. And the two swimmers in the lanes closest to us, Henry Dixon and Cameron Muir, having a good tussle there.
George Clough's best time 2:05.85, which he set at last summer's British Championships, and he's looking very strong there. I'm not quite going to swim 2:05 high, but he's certainly, if he can finish under 30 seconds, we'll be quite pleased with a 2:07 this evening.
And George Clough with that target there from the first heat, 2:11. I say the first heat, the first final of the youths there, 2:11.65 was the time set by Ben Harrison. These guys should be capable of being inside that, and George Clough is certainly going to be inside that time. George Clough with the red cap will win this youth final, 2:07.95. Very good swim there from George Clough. Retson in second and Cameron Muir in third position.
That's a good double from George Clough to top and tail this first evening's work for him, winning those couple of finals in decent quality times. Under 2:20 for his breaststroke, under 2:08 for his medley. He and his coach, who we mentioned earlier, Kostas Galitsis, I think will be pleased with his performances this evening. Of course, still 2 days to come here, Paul, and many more heats and finals and exciting races. Make sure you tune in over the course of the weekend. You won't always hear from us, but you will hear some good swimming commentary.
Absolutely. We will be live streaming every single session here from the Edinburgh International Meet. Remember, keep your tweets coming in. Hashtag EISM 2017. We'll look forward to seeing some of them. If we have time, we will bring them up on the screen. At the moment, though, we go on to the B final, and we have in lane number 1. Matthew Evans from City of Manchester Aquatic. In 2, Jonathan Muller from Hovenstatens. In lane 3, Ben Griffin from Trojan. In lane 4, Zach Logue from University of Stirling. In lane 5, Callum Laurie from University of Stirling. In lane 6, Alexandra Shashpuknik from Lonsey. In lane 7, Jacob Jorgensen from Kastrup. And in lane 8, Matthew Domville from Warrington. And, well, as luck would have it, for the commentators, it's the longest name who is actually leading them through there. Alexander Tashbuknik from the Swiss team of Lonsey.
We'll call him Alex for the purposes of this short commentary. 200 IM, of course, an interesting event because it's just 50 metres of each of the strokes, and unlike the 400 where things can ebb and flow a little bit, it's usually tighter. The breaststrokers certainly can dominate, as we've just seen with George Clough. And David Wilkie, of course, our famous Olympic champion in 1976, was world champion on 200 IM the year before, but it wasn't an Olympic event, which perhaps prevented him from winning a double Olympic gold in Montreal.
Yeah, that's right. David Wilkie, of course, was present here for the reopening of the Commonwealth Pool just 2 or 3 years ago, and very used to swimming in the old Commonwealth Pool, David Wilkie. And, well, the man that's going out ahead, Alexandra Tashbugnik from Lonsey, he's not making any mistake with this one. His entry time 209.20. Ben Griffin from Trojan in lane number 3, just about holding on to second position. Zach Logue from City of Sunderland might be in third, but it is Alexander Tashbugnik, 205.70. Good improvement there. Well, that's an excellent time.
It is. I think his best time is 206.1 according to the records that we have here, so he'll be well pleased with that performance, well pleased with that time, and not as au fait with the Swiss National Championship programme, but I'm sure he'll have bigger meets to come this season, and that's a really positive start or encouraging swim from him.
So the Swiss swimmer takes that B final, 205.70. That would have really contested very well in the A final. The A final is just about to come out now. Fastest time for the qualification was in the 205 range, but you would expect some of the swimmers were holding back this morning. Some very big names coming in this A final.
We have double Olympic silver medalist Duncan Scott, who's trying out some medley work at this stage of the season. Also been doing some butterfly racing. We have, of course, Dan Wallace, who's the Commonwealth Games champion on 400 IM and joined Duncan in one of his silver medals last year with the men's 4x200 freestyle. And Dan is the Scottish record holder for this event, the men's 200 metres medley, 157.59. Meet record to look out for, Max Litchfield from City of Sheffield, not here this year, 201.89. Max was fourth in the 400 IM in Rio, one of 7 fourth places for Team GB, which I'm sure everyone is working very, very hard on to translate into medals come Tokyo.
Yeah, GB successful Rio Olympics and Paralympics, always striving to do better, trying to get these medals in the big competitions. There is the full lineup for this one. James Brown, Swim Ulster in 1, Duncan Scott, University of Stirling in 2, Jarvis Parkinson from London Aquatics in 3, Simon Sojan from SK Neptune in 4, Dan Wallace in lane 5, University of Stirling, Thomas Tsiophanis from Bath University in 6, Thomas Payne, City of Manchester Aquatic in 7, and Fraser Minikin from Loughborough University in lane number 8. Well, pretty tight in the early stages. Duncan Scott, though, probably going into an early lead there.
Yeah, Duncan is really a multi-event swimmer. He has been all throughout his career in the development stages, although he's better known for freestyle over the last couple of years. People would write off his ability to swim medley and the butterfly at their peril, and he's certainly proving that here with a extremely positive and courageous first 50 on the 200 IM.
He's got a high turnover as well on the backstroke, and he is swimming away from this field, and he is leaving the likes of Dan Wallace in his wake at the moment. Duncan Scott, a great swim here in the early stages.
Yeah, that's a really, really good first 155.95. It's with his freestyle strength coming back, if he could put together even a half decent breaststroke like here, he could be under 2 minutes, which would be a very good swim.
Well, Duncan Scott, what a success that he had last year in the Rio Olympic Games. Also a great Commonwealth Games he had in 2014, part of that Scottish relay team. But here comes Dan Wallace coming back now, and he's coming back very strongly in lane number 5. Dan Wallace will be strong in the closing stages, but Duncan Scott, well, he's got a blistering 100 freestyle. Can he hold on to this at the end of the 200?
I don't think there's any doubt that Duncan Scott's going to win, but for him I think he'll be looking to really push that 2 minute mark. You see his head going down there, the stroke rate picking up. Really strong leg kick as always from him. Wallace trying to hold off for second place, but it's Duncan Scott who's going to take this one.
Well, really powerful stuff for Duncan Scott. It's just going to be over the 2 minute mark, 2 minutes .99. A great swim again for Duncan Scott, and as you said, Alan, it is a meet record. We knew that may well be on the cards, but Duncan Scott was the man who took it. 2 minutes .99. He's followed home by Simon Sholden there, just coming through for the second position. A good swim from Jarvis Parkinson to take him ahead of Dan Wallace, so Parkinson in third position, but Duncan Scott looking great there.
Terrific. Duncan Scott at the University of Stirling, coached by Steve Tigg, and just like my shout out earlier on, Duncan Scott spent many of his formative years at the aforementioned Strathallan School, coached by Elaine Johnson there, and between her and Steve, done a great job in preparing Duncan Scott for life in the senior ranks, in the elite senior ranks of world swimming, and proving it there with that 200 IM 200.99, a new meet record, and a great start to this Edinburgh International Swim Meet for him.
As you said, a double medalist at the Olympic Games. Of course, the Great Britain medley team also very strong, and Adam Peaty makes such a difference to that medley team.
It does help when you've got a guy going 56 for breaststroke, for sure. And he just destroyed the field. Of course, Chris Walker-Hebburn, James Guy, and Duncan, as we mentioned, bringing it home against the might of every other country. Was a terrific way to finish the Rio Olympic Games with another medal. Great Britain with 6 in total, 1 gold and 5 silver medals.
Duncan Scott, congratulations, great swim.
Here's Duncan.
Talk us through that race for us.
Yeah, it was hard. I think every 200 IM is hard, and the heat swim's even harder. No, I think the plan there was to get out fast, like usual, because my breaststroke's usually pretty weak. But that's something that I've been working on, and as it's the last couple of races before trials, it's really important each race to try and work on every little bit that you're trying to focus on. So, yeah, I think that went well, and we'll need to see what Steve has to say.
And what's your next goal, Duncan?
Make the 200 fly final tomorrow. I'll happily try and finish that race. We're still deciding what I need to swim at trials. So until that's done, I can't really say much about that. But yeah, looking for quite a busy programme at that anyway.
Okay, well done. Huge congratulations. Thank you.
Well done, Duncan Scott. He looks in great shape, doesn't he, Duncan? Really one to watch this year.
Yeah, he is. He's long and rangy. His swimming strokes reflect that. Definitively fast and powerful as he's swimming. And he's a man to watch, not just on freestyle, Paul. I think people tuning into World Champs, Commonwealth Games, Europeans over the next couple of years may well be surprised by that young man's ability.
Well, we are moving on to the final couple of events of this evening's session here. And another interesting one, this one, the mixed 4x50 metres medley relay.
Interesting, that's a euphemism, Paul, isn't it? Because it's not something we know an awful lot about. We see it in the short course meets around the world, European short course, world short course, and teams will figure out whether to swim males on particular strokes and balance that with the two female swimmers on the other strokes. But no doubt about who's going to set the standard here on this first 50.
It looks like Swim Ulster away to a very fast start. Conor Ferguson on the opening leg there. And well, the full lineup on this one: University of Aberdeen, Ulverston, Glasgow University B team, Glasgow University A team, Warrender C team, West Lothian Junior team, University of Aberdeen Performance B team, and Swim Ulster as well. We lead in that outside lane. Mona McSharry back in the water again, going very, very well there in that top lane. And in second position, it does look like Glasgow University trying to pull back there, but Ulster, Swim Ulster, going really well there in the third leg.
No surprise, Conor Ferguson, winner of the 100 back with a great start. Mona McSharry with that 6700 breaststroke, establishing and developing that lead for Swim Ulster. Callum Bain was in the final of the 50 butterfly, and bringing it home for Swim Ulster, Bethany Firth, who's a Paralympic gold medalist in her own right.
Great Britain's most successful Paralympic athlete in the Rio Paralympic Games, and she is holding on very, very comfortably indeed. Coming through into second position could be University of Aberdeen Performance. John Wright on that final leg, but Bethany Firth is in 148.25, and a commanding performance there from the Ulster team. Great swim there from the Ulster team of Conor Ferguson, Mona McSharry, Callum Bain and Bethany Firth, bringing them home.
I've no idea if that's a good time, Paul, but it was certainly some good swimming from those four Ulster swimmers, and the fact that they're 4.5 seconds faster than anybody else, I think, shows that it was a very impressive performance. They've got four really good swimmers combined well together, and the practice of starts, of really changeovers, and the fast swimming can never go amiss, and I'm sure that will stand them in really good stead for other team races to come.
Well, just looking at the entry times for the swimmers in this one, there's the lineup: Castrop, Swim West Lothian, Warrender, Edinburgh Uni, two City of Glasgow teams. East Kilbride going in 7, Warrender Baths in line number 8, the Warrender Baths junior team. The times there, well, 148.25 we saw in that first heat from Ulster. Edinburgh Uni A team, Lucy Hope, Ewan Ingalls, Raquel Matos and David Cumberledge, 147.25. So the only team that are inside that in terms of entry time. So yeah, it could be an interesting one here. City of Glasgow also looking strong.
Yeah, Edinburgh University, I think, clear favourites for this heat, and I think they should be inside that time set by Swim Ulster. They've got four really strong swimmers. Lucy Hope with her second stroke, if we could call it that.
Yeah, Lucy Hope off to a good start there in lane number 4, Edinburgh University. Craig McNally, would expect him to go well on the backstroke leg here. He goes first for the City of Glasgow team. It's maybe too short for Craig McNally in this 50 backstroke. Grant Henderson also going well in lane number 6. To City of Glasgow men lead East Kilbride Scott Gibson and Lucy Hope in 4th position. Good position there for the Edinburgh team, and Ewan Ingalls will try and bring them back to the head of the field.
That's a great swim from Lucy Hope. The qualifying time for the Scottish Commonwealth Games team is 28.47. She went 28.37, and although this isn't a qualification meet, again, really encouraging early season performance from her.
Ewan Ingalls does close up on Jack McComish and on Greg Watson, and the Edinburgh Uni team hits the front there. Greg Watson in 2nd position, and it's City of Glasgow and Edinburgh Uni fighting this one out. Raquel Matos, Emily Horn and Serena Iwigaram in the top 3 positions.
Going off on this final leg for Edinburgh University, David Cumberledge is an emerging star in not just the the Edinburgh University team, but in British swimming. He's swum 22 point already this season, and looking great in this last 50. I think they're going to be well inside that 148 standard.
And Cumberledge away, very kind of flat freestyle stroke there, but very effective for Cumberledge. 146.10. He is inside the Ulster time as we thought. City of Glasgow in second there in 150.99, so not inside the Ulster time, so they will be third in terms of the two heats. But Edinburgh University, great finish there from Cumberledge, and it was all really set up in the early stages. Lucy Hope, excellent first leg there.
It was. She'll be, although she didn't win that leg because she was up against the male swimmers, she'll be really pleased, I think, with that 28.3. It's her second stroke, but it's inside the Commonwealth Games standard, and I'm sure she'll be swimming that at some point elsewhere in the season, and we'll hope to add that to her bow of events for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, good performance there from the Edinburgh University A team, set up by Lucy Hope, as I said. Ewan Ingalls bringing them back into the first position there on the breaststroke leg. Raquel Matos consolidating that position there, and Cumberledge with that excellent freestyle sprint there at the end, taking that gold medal position for Edinburgh University A team.
We've had a great evening swimming in this first final session, Paul. We had men's 200 breaststroke going pretty much to form with Ross Murdoch. A similar situation with the women's breaststroke. Best race, Julie Elliott coming back at Stephen Milne in that 1500 freestyle. But I think the quality race of the evening for me was Duncan Scott's 200 IM in that last individual final. 2 minutes, .99, a new meet record. Great stuff.
Yeah, Duncan Scott, very much one to watch for the future. Some great stars we've seen here tonight. World champions, Olympic champions, some great swimming, some excellent swimming still to come over this weekend. Thank you very much, Alan, for your company tonight. We'll hopefully speak to you later on at the weekend. I hope you are happy with what your swimmers have achieved tonight and what they will go on to achieve for the rest of this weekend and the rest of the season, of course.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks. I really enjoyed it. Thanks everybody for tuning in, for watching. Keep all those tweets and messages coming, and we'll look forward to having you join us over the course of the weekend.
Tomorrow morning we will be back on air. I think it's an 8:45 start of the session, so join us just before that. But for now, it's good night from the Commonwealth Pool in Edinburgh.